The girl covered her whole body in brown powder, and then put on a wig and drew a mole on the corner of her mouth. She successfully transformed herself into someone else. This girl, the daughter of a wealthy family, disguised herself as a poor person to get close to her fiancé. She wanted to know what kind of person he was. Lamdao had just returned to the country when her grandmother forced her to marry. She had never met the guy, so she didn't know what kind of person he was. That's why she changed her clothes, and even her best friend Sawat didn't recognize her. Who was she? With the help of her adoptive mother, Lamdao went to her future mother-in-law's house to apply for a cook position. She introduced herself as a beautiful woman from Yubon province, named Phi Dam. She asked, "Do you think I'm pretty?" Mrs. Morn said, "Your clothes look so ugly." Then she asked, "How's your cooking?" The girl bragged, "I cook better than the head chef." Mrs. Morn was silently rejoiced in her heart, but wanted to test Phi Dam's cooking skills. They went to the kitchen, and Mrs. Morn listed a few seafood dishes and a vegetarian dish. This was too easy for Phi Dam, and she immediately raised her hand for money. A notorious tightwad like Mrs. Morn only gave her 100 baht. Seeing how stingy his mother was, Pa Ram couldn't just sit there. He took out 1,000 baht and told her to go buy ingredients. She was about to take the money when Mrs. Morn snatched it back, but it didn't affect her mood. Instead, she jumped up and down, showing that it was okay. After she was done preparing, she was about to light a fire to cook rice in the garden. She was swaying her hips and humming a song. Just as she was showing off her talent, her black face suddenly turned to ash. Her face was black, but Mrs. Morn's face was even more furious. "I told you to grill the vegetables, not me." Seeing this, Sawat took water to put out the fire but slipped, causing the dirty water used to wash the water spinach to fall right into Mrs. Morn's mouth. She quickly apologized to her. She said she wouldn't take her salary for 2 months. This enrages Mrs. Morn's. She rolled her eyes and demanded a higher price. 3 months? You don't need any salary for half a year. Deal. That's how she was free to work in the kitchen, showing off her cooking skills. This made Mrs. Morn extremely happy. She excitedly ran to her son to tell him the good news. She said the new cook only spent 100 baht and prepared a sumptuous seafood meal. If Mrs. Morn knew that earlier, she should have only given her 50 baht. Pa Ram didn't believe it. He thought 100 baht couldn't buy that much seafood. He ran to the kitchen to see the cook. There, he saw a table full of abalone, sea cucumber, and conch. He asked her how she did it. Lamdao glanced at Pa Ram and said that the crab alone cost 500 baht, so of course she paid out of her own pocket. Pa Ram thought she was crazy. What cook would use their own money to buy ingredients? The cook said she was investing. "I'm not crazy. I'm doing this to invest." "Invest in what?" "Only if I can cook all the dishes. Your family will hire me." The rich girl was running away from her engagement, and she didn't hesitate to transform herself into a country girl and infiltrate her future husband's house as a cook. But when she naturally used her own money to buy ingredients and cook a meaty meal for them, Pa Ram's sister, Pan, praised the cook's skills. Mrs. Morn rolled her eyes and said, "It's a little better than being inedible." She said that just to bargain for the salary. After they finished eating, they went outside to negotiate. She carefully calculated the cook's salary. Then, with a heavy heart, she said the number. It would be a large amount of money. "Your salary is 1,500 baht. 1,500 baht? The cook was very upset. But to stay, she said that Mrs. Morn was giving her too much, because she only expected 1,000 baht. Suddenly getting an extra 500, the cook was very grateful. But as soon as she went outside, she started complaining. "She's so demanding, but my daily salary is only 300-400. Lamdao saw Pa Ram coming towards her. She thought he had heard her badmouthing him, so she decided to pack her bags and leave. Lamdao pretended to be pitiful and cried her eyes out. She said she was a country girl, working a side job. Life was hard, so she didn't want to lose her job. But obviously, the cook misunderstood Pa Ram's intentions. Pa Ram just wanted to give her some extra salary, in addition to the 1,500 baht that Mrs. Morn gave her. Every month, he would give her an extra 8,500 baht to make it a round number. Pa Ram also said, if she doesn't have enough money to buy vegetables, she can come to him. The cook was very well behaved. The next day, she was carrying a garbage bag and bumped into Pa Ram. She smiled and used her eyes to send off Dr. Pa Ram when she saw a girl with buck teeth standing in front of the door shouting. While they were looking at each other, both of them noticed the other's unique features. Oh my god, her teeth, they could probably dig up soil. The other girl said that the cook's mole could probably be squeezed out. but they quickly ignored each other's facial characteristics. Lam Dao asked for the other girl's name. She casually tossed her hair and shyly told the cook, "Call me Ma Ri Lin, or Tai." "What? You're kidding me?" Lam Dao laughed awkwardly, but to win over the other girl, she still called her Tayu. At that moment, Mrs. Morn came over, and Tai's identity was revealed. It turned out she was Mrs. Morn's nanny. The two ugly girls quickly became partners. Tao told Lam Dao, "Even though you think Mrs. Lam Dao is stingy, she actually has a kind heart." Tai was an orphan, and Mrs. Morn took her in, and she could even went to school, but Tai hated studying. Her dream was to become a superstar like Marilyn Monroe. Lam Dao didn't even dare to dream that big, but from Tayo, she learned about Mrs. Morn's living habits, like how she would sleep until the afternoon. Lam Dao looked at her watch and decided to meet Sawat for an interview for an interior design position. The owner of the company was Sawat's friend. This job was extremely flexible and wouldn't affect Lam Dao's role as a cook. The owner took out a drawing and gave it to her. Lam Dao promised to bring the results in 3 to 5 days. As they were leaving, Pa Ram, a psychologist, was brought there by his patient. Pa Ram told his patient, Rika, to handle her business there while he waited for her at the library. At that moment, Lam Dao was also browsing books there. Coincidentally, they both looked at the same book at the same time. Other people wouldn't dare look in the mirror after removing their makeup, but Lam Dao looked like an angel after taking off hers. She also happened to meet the young master at the library. This was their second encounter. When their eyes met, their thoughts drifted back. Their first awkward meeting at the airport. Because their suitcases were identical, Pa Ram accidentally grabbed Lam Dao's. With the help of a foreign friend, an extremely embarrassing scene unfolded. When the suitcase opened, lace underwear spilled all over the floor, and Pa Ram, in a public place, put Lam Dao's tight-fitting underwear back into the suitcase. To avoid embarrassment, Lam Dao could only stay nearby and act along. It was true that you can't judge a book by its cover. Who could have imagined that a tall, handsome guy would like that kind of cool feeling? You know how embarrassed I was just now? It's because of my lace underwear. Can you keep your voice down? So many people are watching. After being brought back to reality, Lam Dao thought that she was their family cook, and she was afraid that Pa Ram would recognize her. She quickly turned around and avoided his gaze. After Rika finished her business, she went home with Pa Ram. But at this time the cook hadn't come back, which made Tayu very anxious. Coincidentally, Rika heard that Pa Ram's family hired a new cook, so she wanted to try the food. Tayu wasn't good at lying, so she started to get nervous. She got so nervous that she drank the warm water she had intended to give to her mistress. But Mrs. Morn didn't blame Tayu, and instead, she was happy that the cook wasn't home. That way, she wouldn't need to entertain the unknown and unpopular model Rika. After leaving the house, Rika was upset and told the person she liked. She was crying when she kissed Pa Ram. Lam Dao had just finished putting on her makeup when she saw the scene, her fiancé being kissed by someone else. She was so angry that this made her blood boil, and she shouted at the top of her lungs. Then she ran over to check on Pa Ram's injuries. Phi Dam even said that Pa Ram's patient was so crazy that she bit someone's lip. Rika was so mad. Her romantic moment had been ruined by an ugly girl. Where was the cook when Rika wanted to eat? They had a big fight, and they even dragged Mrs. Morn into it. The cook started saying that the girl bit Pa Ram's mouth. She bit him and sucked on him like she was trying to eat him alive. Pa Ram's lip was all swollen. To and Pan got goosebumps hearing the cook describe it, and Rika was so angry she could spit fire. But she calmed down. One witness wasn't enough. If the girl denied it, the cook's words wouldn't matter. Rika stormed off, fuming. Pa Ram told the cook she shouldn't eavesdrop on his conversations. This was rude. But Lam Dao was even more upset, because Pa Ram was clearly her fiancé. They went from talking to arguing. Mrs. Morn stopped the fight, telling the cook to go to her room, and then reminded her son that he had a fiancé. What would her family think if they heard about this? Pa Ram said he'd never met Lam Dao, let alone had feelings for her, so why should he care? But he didn't know that Lam Dao had heard everything he said to his mom. She was furious. Pa Ram wasn't paying attention to his fiancé, but he was interested in that patient, Rika. Lam Dao was speechless. She was determined not to marry a guy like that. Mrs. Morn wanted fancy French food, but she wouldn't give the cook any money to buy ingredients. They say you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, but the cook didn't think so. She figured out a way to make something out of nothing, and soon she had a big fancy meal, ready with a fancy French name. Mrs. Morn was excited just looking at it, but when she tasted it, she didn't like it at all. The flavors were weird, and she couldn't even finish it. The cook told her the spaghetti was made from leftovers from the night before, and the mashed potatoes were made from ugly potatoes she bought at the market. The bread Mrs. Morn was eating was from the bakery's expired stock, and the bacon was made from leftover pork belly from the fridge that had been left out to dry, letting it ferment and get really gross. "Isn't it delicious?" the cook asked. Mrs. Morn was getting really annoyed, and her face looked like she about to throw up. The cook said Mrs. Morn always appreciated food, so she was sure she could eat it. Pa Ram was mad. He told the cook not to joke like that. Lamda was also upset because Rika bit Pa Ram's lip. But arguing with the boss wasn't a good idea, so the cook quickly tried to smooth things over and make Pa Ram happy. She said she would be his bodyguard, because she was worried another female patient would bite his lip. Did she look really tough, being his bodyguard? Pa Ram was confused. He didn't understand what she was doing. He didn't want to deal with this crazy cook, because he was worried he'd get crazy too. Lamdao saw her brother as she was seeing Pa Ram off. She was scared and ran to find Tao, but she couldn't find her anywhere. She didn't know that Tao was on a date with the Sawat family's butler. Two ugly people were flirting. Sawat was happily watching, and they were excitedly chatting about their lives. Then they started kissing. But someone ruined their moment. Lamdao finally found Tai and dragged her away. She pulled Tai away, leaving the butler looking sad. The cook needed Tai's help, of course. She took out 500 baht from her pocket and asked Tao to do something for her. Tao saw the money and said yes. Phi Dam pointed to her brother, who was talking to Pan, and told Tai to call her when he left. After that, Lamdao took off her makeup and went to find her foster mom, hoping she could hide her. But her mom was out of town. Lamdao knew her brother would ask about her. What could she tell him? Maybe she could say she was addicted to something and in rehab? As Lamdao stepped outside, she got a call from her boss at the furniture company. He said a customer wanted to talk about redecorating their home. If there was money to be made, why not go? Lamdao went there right away. But looking through the window, she saw her own boss sitting next to the customer. The cook couldn't stay home and cook. She always wanted to be out and about. And on top of being out and about, she was taking on extra work. And it was her own boss who was the customer. This scared the heck out of her. Lamdao was really worried, so he called his best friend, Sawat, for help. Sawat, even though he was a bit weird, always listened to Lamdao. He pretended to be crazy and started breaking things. Pa Ram heard the screaming on the other end of the phone and knew something was wrong. Lamdao was about to give up when he saw Pa Ram running out. Helping people was more important, so the doctor left. After he left, Lamdao went to meet his client. He couldn't believe it was Rika. Where did she get her name? Was she as beautiful as a flower or as pretty as a gem? It didn't matter if she was like a flower or a gem. He wanted to talk business with her. Why was she making trouble for him? Who did she think she was? Lamdao didn't like her, so he got angry and snapped back at her. He didn't expect her to be so tough. She didn't like what he said, and she wanted to fight him. Lamdao might not be as tall as her, but he wasn't going to let her hit him. The tall girl went to tell her boss about Lamdao, but she forgot that Lamdao was the boss's favorite. When Pa Ram got back to his neighbor's house, the neighbor told him her son was fine again. Pa Ram was really confused. What kind of crazy illness was this? It just went away like that? But whatever, it was good that he was okay. Lamdao went back home and saw his boss's car in the driveway. She was scared, so she sat down and covered her face with a book. She wanted to run away, but she got caught. Pa Ram was confused again. He went back home and asked his mom where the cook was. His mom said Teo told her the cook had a stomach ache and was probably resting in the maid's room. But Pa Ram just saw the cook went outside. Teo tricked her mother, but she couldn't fool him. He said that and went to the maid's room. Tay ran ahead to stop him, lying that the cook was sick. The smell was terrible. It was really bad. It could even turn a white person yellow. Pa Ram didn't believe Tao. He wanted to go into the room to check. He's a doctor. He can cure anything. Tay couldn't stop him, so she had to let him go in. Pa Ram lifted the blanket and saw the cook lying in bed. She looked really sick. I don't know if she had diarrhea, but I have to give her credit. She was a really good actress. Seeing the cook pretending to be sick, Pa Ram didn't say anything. If you are sick, you need to see a doctor. He said that and carried the cook to the hospital. Seeing Pa Ram do this for real, Lamdao suddenly felt better. Pa Ram wasn't going to give up. He insisted on taking her to the hospital. Lamdao is smart. She quickly had an idea. You didn't let me down because you wanted to bite my lip, right? That's why you didn't want to let me down. Why don't you just say it, doctor? You want to bite my lip, right? It will be so exciting. Really? Yes, really. Okay, I get it. Seeing the cook say those words, Pa Ram felt really uncomfortable because he couldn't answer her question. The mother quickly ran over. The cook was thrown to the ground. She was so embarrassed. Tu saw that the cook was a really good actress. Tu also pretended to act like the cook. Then she noticed that the cook had vitiligo on her face. Her face had a patch of white skin. At the same time, the mom also noticed a black stain on her daughter's shirt. Both of them were very confused. Lamda was confused because she didn't know when her makeup had rubbed off. Pa Ram was wondering when his shirt got dirty. Sure enough, Lamda was still smarter. She quickly figured out that her makeup came off while she was in the owner's arms. This made her very worried. She quickly put on more makeup and went into Pa Ram's room, wanting to take his shirt to wash it before he noticed. She successfully snuck into Pa Ram's dressing room and found the shirt she had stained. As she was about to leave, she bumped into the owner. Lamdao screamed like she was about to dead. Next, they both questioned each other about why they were there. Lamdao said she was just there to tidy up a little and take his shirt to wash. Pa Ram saw the cook trembling in front of him, and he decided to tease her. He put on his shirt and hugged the cook from behind. This scared her so much that she lost control and thought she was going to die. She quickly said that they were both decent people. Touching each other like that wasn't good. Pa Ram was amused by her words and pulled the cook around. When she opened her eyes and saw the handsome guy in front of her, her mouth was slightly open in embarrassment, and her face was a little excited. The cook's expression made Pa Ram unable to take it anymore. If he kept looking at her like that, he'd get a crush on her. To hide his feelings, he could only pretend to be cold and leave. Lamdao was left behind. Her expression couldn't hide her feelings. Her mouth said she almost couldn't hold back, but her confused expression had a bit of joy. What she said wasn't what she really thought. She told herself about what happened, using her friend's computer to finish her design. What excited her friend the most was Pa Ram's body. If it were me, I wouldn't let him take the lead. That's so creepy. I'm so looking forward to it. Go to sleep on the floor, okay? Lamdam works so hard. During the day, she cooked for the owner's family, and at night, she stayed up late designing for clients. Her best friend was always by her side, but couldn't help her, and he kept praising Pa Ram's body. Even when she went to sleep, she had to endure farting, teeth grinding, and talking in her sleep. The worst thing was that she, as a cook, had lost the secret recipe. Lamdao searched everywhere, because that was her bread and butter. But her actions at midnight attracted Pa Ram's attention. He asked her what she was doing at midnight. Why did her face look like a calico cat? What a question. The cook looked at her reflection in the mirror and quickly found her makeup. She wanted to have a fair complexion like an angel, and she asked Pa Ram in a cute voice, "Is it prettier to have dark skin or fair skin?" Pa Ram looked at her helplessly. "Whether you're as dark as a coal or as white as an angel, you're still ugly." Pa Ram left, and she didn't dare continue looking for the recipe. What she was looking for had been found by Tinacorn and taken home. No one in the family knew why Lamdao's recipe was at Pa Ram's house. The next day, a guest came to visit. The aunts were busy playing cards, laughing and talking happily. The money they won from gambling wasn't even enough to buy a sweat towel. It was really hot in the house. The owner glanced at the cook and told her to turn on the air conditioner. Lamdao was stunned. "Did we have an air conditioner?" The owner pulled her aside and told her to pretend to turn on the air conditioner, then say the air conditioner was broken. This was a difficult act for Lamdao to perform, and she didn't want to do it. She said she couldn't do it. Seeing her refuse to cooperate, the owner became furious. "Go to a cool place and stay there. Don't appear in front of me again." Lamdao was kicked out. Conveniently, she had work to do. The interior design company's boss gave her a new client. When Lamdao arrived, she realized that, after all this circling around, her client was still that girl. They didn't get along, and it was already good enough that they didn't fight when they saw each other. Rika didn't want the person she hated to make money from her, and she said it was okay if the house wasn't remodeled. After all, her husband, the rich Pa Ram, was preparing to welcome her to live with him. These words made Lamdao very angry. This Dr. Pa Ram really doesn't know how to judge people. Bringing someone like Rika home, nothing good will come of it. Pa Ram, you already have an engagement, yet you're welcoming another girl to your house. Isn't that a bit much? After putting on her makeup, Lamdao looked at herself in the mirror. She decided that she had to teach Pa Ram a lesson when she got home. As soon as she got home, he intercepted her. Oh great, he found out she left work without permission. The The girl painted her face black, put on a wig, and drew a mole on the corner of her mouth, successfully transforming herself into a different person. She did this makeup with the purpose of giving her landlord a headache. But as soon as she got home, she ran into her landlord. She was caught for leaving work without permission. Now, it was her turn to have a headache. Pa Ram asked her where she had been. Lamdao stammered and couldn't answer, but it wasn't over yet. Pa Ram saw the bag she was carrying and continued to ask what was in the bag. The cook was bombarded with questions from Pa Ram. The famous cook still couldn't think of a way out. She could only deflect by saying that the beautiful girl Rika was coming to stay at her house soon. This made Pa Ram dumbfounded. He asked her who told her this nonsense. Lamdao looked at Pa Ram and said she saw it online. Pa Ram didn't care about news online. He only cared about the bag the cook was carrying. Pa Ram had experience dealing with the cook, so he leaned in close to Lamdao. The cook panicked and pushed him away. "What are you doing in broad daylight?" Lamdao protected herself, but the bag fell into Pa Ram's hands. He opened it and saw that it was expensive clothes. Her salary was only 10,000 baht a month. She couldn't afford it. This time, Lamdao was doomed. Her savior finally appeared. It was the houseboy from Sawat's house. He was the neighbor's houseboy. "He likes me. He bought this for me while shopping today. Sure enough, he likes Phi Dam, and I even baked him a cake." What was I eating? Lamdao's made-up words caused Tai a lot of heartache. Though she didn't mean to, the cook was the reason for this. The houseboy, though just a servant, had a generous owner who gave him a lot of money. It wasn't like that doctor, who treated his servants like cattle. Pa Ram wouldn't be outdone, a master and a servant arguing. But Lamdao forgot that arguing with your boss only brings you trouble. Seeing Pa Ram angrily walk away, she quickly chased after him to apologize. She even said, "If you want me to be your pillow, I can do that too." Phi Dam wasn't Pa Ram's type. He told her to just work hard. "Thanks, I'll try my best." Lamdao had already had enough trouble. She had just dealt with the owner. She saw Tay arguing with the neighbor's houseboy because she had heard the story the cook told. Lamdao quickly comforted her, saying that it was just a story she made up. There was nothing between her and the houseboy. After a lot of talking, the couple's misunderstanding was resolved, but it created another misunderstanding. Pa Ram heard the whole conversation between the three of them. He waited for Pa Ram and tried to clear up the confusion in his mind. Then he went to Rika. He asked Rika why she told the media that she was going to move into his house. Rika was surprised and said she didn't tell the media anything. She was just joking with a friend. Maybe her friend told the media. But her friend went to London last night. How could she have leaked this information? The more she thought about it, the more she realized something was wrong. Rika investigated all night, and the next day she went to Pa Ram's house to say she had found out that there was no such news online, and none of her friends had said anything about it. But while they were talking, someone showed up at the wrong time. It must be that loudmouth girl who spread this news. She asked, "Who is the loudmouth?" Lamdao wasn't in the kitchen. She ran outside to eavesdrop on the conversation. The more she heard, the more she felt something was wrong. It seemed like they were talking about her. The cook jumped in and interrupted them. She even sighed over Rika's beautiful appearance. "Didn't you hear that Pa Ram doesn't care about these rumors? Why are you still hanging around the owner? Don't make yourself worthless like that. Don't tie yourself up like that. You should know how to protect yourself. Do I have to teach you? Your brain should start working." Pa Ram couldn't take the cook's jokes anymore. He went to park the car inside. Rika glared at the cook. The cook asked Rika with a teasing tone, "Did I make Rika fall for me?" Rika angrily pushed the cook away, but Lamdao didn't mind. "I'm going now. Maybe the doctor wants me to take you back to your room to sleep." "Oh, I forgot to close the door." What kind of person is this? Pa Ram had to admit defeat to the cook's mischief. The cook looked at the owner with a cute expression. Pa Ram told her, "Don't say anything ridiculous. I don't want people to think I'm bringing you home, right?" "Right." Lamdao hadn't been in her room for long when another incident happened. Tao dragged her out to talk. Lamdao didn't hold back in praising Tai's love. She also sent her blessings in English. Tu was thrilled to see that she could speak English and immediately asked her to teach her some English songs. T wanted to sing them for her boyfriend. Therefore, Tay studied seriously with the cook. Pa Ram heard this unique English song. His suspicions grew even stronger. It seemed like his cook had many talents. Her English was perfect. The next morning, Mrs. Morn took the cook shopping. They passed the fruit stand and searched for a strange fruit, which made the employee think they were up to something. So, the employee threw things at them. Lamdao thought that Mrs. Morn's behavior was embarrassing and that she had lost face. Mrs. Morn said, "My face has already been flattened by a truck." "Ma'am, I feel beautiful." "Do you think I look beautiful?" Pan persuaded his mother to stop being angry. He said, "The cook isn't always thinking clearly." Pa Ram had the opposite attitude. He thought, "She is so smart, why is she working as a cook in this house? She's acting silly every day. She must be putting everyone at ease. Could she have another motive? Or is she a thief?" When Pan saw the cook looking for something around in the kitchen, he unconsciously thought, Bidam could actually be a thief. Lamdao always felt that Pan looked at her strangely. Lamdao was walking into the garden when she heard the brothers talking. It seemed like they were talking about the fiancé avoiding him. Pa Ram was very angry because his fiancé kept avoiding him. He said, "This marriage isn't important." Lamdao saw the other side's attitude, and she quickly told her family about it. When her grandmother heard, she immediately called Pa Ram's house. "Hello, this is Pa Ram's house." The voice sounded very much like her granddaughter. Lamdao recognized her grandmother's voice on the other side. "Grandma? Oh my!" She was scared and handed the phone to Mrs. Morn. Though she knew her granddaughter was playing a game of disappearance, she didn't expect Mrs. Morn to say, "Well, Pa Ram will wait for her. He will definitely wait, even until he died." Lamdao couldn't believe that Mrs. Morn was so stubborn. But what she didn't know was that Mrs. Morn's persistence was to repay her kindness. Mrs. Morn was an orphan, and it was Lamdao's grandmother who had raised her. She was also the one who helped her family to have a wealthy husband, Pa Ram's father. It was a shame that Pa Ram's father was so kind that he was tricked out of all his assets and left his wife with a mountain of debt. Other people said that she was a gold digger, but she never cared. At the same time, she was also a kind person. Now, her benefactor only wanted Pa Ram to marry her granddaughter. How could she refuse? Pa Ram didn't want to oppose his mother either. But the other side kept avoiding him, which made him feel no fondness for his fiancée. He went out to the balcony to catch some air. He saw Lamdao sitting under the light of a tree, scribbling in a notebook. Although she lied that she was writing a letter to her family, Pa Ram didn't believe her, but still respected her privacy. Lamdao saw his sad face and didn't know how to comfort him, so she wanted to listen to him quietly. Pa Ram joked that she wouldn't know. Even if she listened, she wouldn't be able to help. Lamdao had a very high EQ and immediately refuted that she was only listening and not trying to solve the problem. Seeing her sincere face, Pa Ram was willing to confide in her. "My mother wants me to marry someone I've never met, but the other side keeps avoiding meeting me. It makes me feel that she is a very selfish person, not worthy of marrying." Lamdao was unhappy after hearing this. "Someone like you is only liked by crows, always accusing others of being selfish. You're clearly engaged, but you don't refuse another person's kiss. Or are you looking for some spare tires? Whoever is suitable, you pick them? You're getting more and more irritating." The slap made Pa Ram question everything. He didn't know the cook could be so hot-tempered. But the cook's words gave him an idea. If he had a girlfriend, then wouldn't he have to get engaged to anyone else? Thinking about it, he couldn't help but smile. Although Lamdao couldn't explain why she was angry, it was still somewhat useful. To soothe her anger, she went into the garden to water the plants. After seeing her diligence, Mrs. Morn was about to praise her, but Lamdao sprayed water on her face. She thought that Mrs. Morn wanted to save water, so she came here to bathe and water the flowers at the same time. Lamdao thoughtfully handed the hose to Mrs. Morn, telling her to wash up first, and she would get a towel. But clearly, she misunderstood her. She just wanted to tell her that her son wouldn't be home for dinner tonight, and that she only needed to cook for 2 people. She wasn't wrong. Pa Ram wasn't eating at home. He had made the decision to make Rika his girlfriend. That way, he wouldn't have to get engaged, and wouldn't have to get involved in any more trouble with his fiancée. Yesterday, Pa Ram talked to the cook. Today, he brought Rika home. His mother didn't like it. She told her son that when he brought someone home, he should tell her first, not just let anyone come in. Rika smiled faintly and said nothing. The cook seemed very jealous and confronted Rika. "I remember you, you are that crow. You're the one who bit the owner's lip." Rika calmly replied, "How could I bite you?" "Bite you where?" "Because I'm dating your boss." Lamdao could only swallow her anger. Mrs. Morn also stepped forward to confront Rika. "Food can be eaten casually, but don't talk nonsense. Some things need to be confirmed by Pa Ram. Tell everyone about your relationship. Otherwise, people will think you are a goblin." But their joy didn't last long. They were add fuel to the fire by their own son. Pa Ram admitted that Rika was his girlfriend. This was a bolt from the blue, which made his mother angry. Rika smiled happily. As soon as she came in, she had to stake her claim. leaving Lam Dao to cook. Lam Dao was happy to serve Rika dinner, but she already had a plan. Only Mrs. Morton understood. Rika was not polite when she was welcomed. She said directly that the dinner had to be sumptuous and nutritious, and to make a French steak and goose patteth. The cook was very happy to assure her that she would complete the task. As she was about to prepare the food, Pa Ram heard her call Rika Crow, so he told her to change the way she addressed her. She couldn't call Rika Crow rudely. The cook immediately added a word to Rika's name. So, call her Dead Crow. Or you can call her Miss Crow or Sister Crow. That sounds good too. The Crow Beauty wanted a sumptuous meal, of course. Lam Dao wouldn't disappoint her. She quickly found a partner and started preparing a super spicy soup. Soon, a delicate meal was ready. The Crow Beauty looked at the strange food on the table, and she felt something was wrong. She listened to the cook introduce the dishes, and Rika said directly, "What the hell is this? Is this food for humans?" She grabbed a plate and told the cook to throw it in the trash. Mrs. Morn, who always respected food, certainly didn't like this. She immediately stood up to protect the cook. She also reminded Tao to prepare a special welcoming ceremony. Tao prepared the music. How fancy the owner's meals were, you could tell just by looking at them. Even the soup could make you cry from spiciness. It was to bless the owner and the beautiful girl. The two ugly girls stood up and danced, making even the guests feel embarrassed. But the mother and Pon kept clapping because they didn't like this girl. After dinner, the mother questioned Rika. How can you be so shameless to seduce Pa Ram when you know he's already engaged? The reason Rika gave was very simple. The person Pa Ram loved wasn't Lam Dao, it was her. She also wanted to ask, is Pa Ram's fiancé really more beautiful than me? Is she whiter, taller, and prettier than me? If I'm really inferior to her, it's because I use money to buy a man's heart. She doesn't buy him. Rika turned around and left. She went to find Pa Ram to tell him that his mother had favored his fiancé. Pa Ram had to admit that it was true. That's why he paid Rika to pretend to be his girlfriend. Rika refused to admit it and even used a melodramatic movie as an example, saying that the male lead in the movie hired the female lead to pretend to be his girlfriend, and then the male and female leads had a happy ending. So Rika thought that they would be the same. Am I digging my own grave? Lam Dao asked the owner. What don't you like about Rika? Is it because she doesn't have any money? Because she's rude and impolite. She also calls herself the owner, and she's not polite at all. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The owner and the cook shared an enemy. They were happily gossiping about Rika when someone interrupted them. The two of them could only go elsewhere to continue their conversation. They were talking when Lam Dao's grandmother appeared. She remembered the cooking recipe that Tinacorn had brought from Pa Ram's house. She also heard a voice that sounded like her granddaughter, so she decided to come investigate. This decision scared Lam Dao. A dog in a hurry can jump over the wall. In her rush, the cook also jumped over the wall to escape. As soon as she jumped down, the houseboy from Sa Wat's house caught her and forced her to jump back. Lam Dao wanted to get away, holding like this. Really? Lam Dao's grandmother asked, who answered the phone the other day? The mother honestly replied, it was our cook who answered the phone, and she told me to call the cook to get to know each other better. But no matter how hard they searched, they couldn't find the cook. Late that night, Lam Dao returned to Pa Ram's house. Everyone is here? Lam Dao looked at Tai's lip movements and said that she was lost. She thought that the owner would punish her, but she didn't. It's fine that you came back. If you go out and can't find your way back, call me, I'll come pick you up. Lam Dao felt very touched and went back to her room. She hadn't been sitting down for long when her boss called and said that a foreign client wanted to talk to her. While she was speaking English, Pa Ram happened to pass by and hear the voice from the room. But Lam Dao had a way to deal with the owner. My mouth smells, boss. Pa Ram noticed that the cook's hair was off. Lam Dao quickly ran away, but Pa Ram noticed that his hand had brown powder on it. T was awakened by them and discovered the mole and wig the cook had used. T pulled Lam Dao's wig off, revealing her true appearance. Oh my god, she's pretty. As beautiful as Marilyn Monroe. I'm a little smitten. But she disguised herself like this. Did she want to steal things? Lam Dao couldn't explain herself, so she could only lie to Tae. 500 baht. Damn it. Oh, Mrs. Deal. That's it. That's it. That way, she could keep Ta from telling anyone. Only, Tai thought that the cook didn't want her to tell outsiders, but the houseboy from Sa Wat's house wasn't an outsider. She told him about it, and told him to keep it a secret, and not tell anyone. But the owner wasn't an outsider, it was actually disguised. After waking up, Pa Ram thought of the cook's unusual hair, and suspected she was wearing a wig, so he decided to investigate. But she didn't expect that the cook's wig wasn't low quality, it was stuck to her scalp. Pa Ram was embarrassed because he hadn't been successful. "Do you have any intentions towards me? It's so awkward, you touch someone, you have to take responsibility." Pa Ram quickly explained that he didn't have any intentions towards her. But the cook said, "You touched me, and now I have to suffer the consequences." "What consequences did you suffer?" "No consequences at all. Lam Dao and her friend went out to eat, but before they went in, she wanted to use the restroom. But unexpectedly, she bumped into the owner on her way to the restroom. Fearing that Pa Ram would recognize her, she quickly looked away. They ran into the loud-mouthed doctor, who was also Pa Ram's colleague, and a college friend of both Pa Ram and Sawat. The loud-mouthed doctor blocked Lam Dao's escape route. Once again, she encountered Pa Ram with Rika. He was surprised to see the two girls arguing as soon as they met. "So, you two know each other? That's good." The enthusiastic college friend introduced Lam Dao's real name. Pa Ram recognized the name, but couldn't think of it immediately. After the loud-mouthed doctor's introduction, they ended up sitting at the same table. The loud-mouthed doctor didn't care about shame and grabbed the first bite. While he was savoring the food, he didn't forget to praise Lam Dao. She was the school beauty back in college, beautiful and brilliant. Sawat added, "I was one of the school heartthrobs too." Pa Ram suddenly went outside to answer a call. Lam Dao wanted to use this chance to escape while he was gone. But fate brought them together. She was too worried and tripped. She wanted to leave quickly, but she couldn't call a car at that moment. At that moment, she heard a voice behind her. "Who let you walk outside?" "I do not dare to walk. I'm running away." Lam Dao was carried back. She looked at the guy carefully treating her wound. His kindness made her even more fascinated. Her heart was full of mixed emotions. After treating the wound, Pa Ram still felt like he knew her, and this stubborn personality was also familiar. "I'm sure I know you. I didn't lie to you on purpose." The cook had accidentally run into the owner at a luxury hotel. Pa Ram looked at her familiar face, and he was sure he had seen her somewhere. He remembered. She was the one who laughed at him for liking to wear silk clothes at the airport. Fortunately, the owner didn't recognize her identity. But how could she explain the injured leg? She was in a bind. She didn't know how to explain this. Then she saw Pa Ram wearing a black tracksuit, running. Lam Dao came up with a plan. She purposely bumped into Pa Ram. Pa Ram quickly sat down and apologized to her, mumbling to himself, "I don't know why, I keep bumping into people lately." Although Lam Dao was in pain, it didn't matter. The story of the injured foot was resolved. The owner saw the cook's injured foot and personally went into the kitchen to cook. But she said that last night, Sawat from next door had borrowed the cook, and they had been out all night. But clearly, last night, I went to eat with a designer along with Sawat. Could they be the same person? Pa Ram was full of questions and pulled the cook outside. He said that she and Lam Dao looked very similar, and their personalities were just as stubborn. He remembered that yesterday, the cook went out with Sawat, but the person with Sawat was clearly Lam Dao. The cook had hurt her foot, and Lam Dao had also hurt her foot. How could this be such a coincidence? Tu saw Pa Ram questioning the cook, and immediately ran to find the houseboy for help. He had just jumped down when the rapper was in the middle of his rap. Tu didn't have time to care about him. She quickly ran to find Sawat. It was clear that being Lam Dao's friend meant that you had to be smart. Sawat quickly came up with a plan. He told them to find the cook to cook. He said that Lam Dao came to play and wanted to try the cook's cooking. Pa Ram was stunned and approached to ask questions. Sawat successfully saved Lam Dao, saying that last night he took Lam Dao out to buy things, and after shopping, he put her on the bus. After saying that, he called Lam Dao to come eat together. Pa Ram understood, but now he wanted to see Lam Dao. Sawat said that she was taking a bath. "Why don't you let the cook prepare the food first?" The cook crawled from the kitchen to the bedroom, took off her wig and clothes, and put on pajamas, appearing in front of Pa Ram as Lam Dao. Pa Ram didn't seem surprised and went into the kitchen to find the cook. When he went in, he didn't see anyone. While the mother and daughter were wondering how to explain it, Lam Dao appeared as the cook. It was truly confusing. The incident passed like that. As soon as Pa Ram left, Sawat called Lam Dao and answered a call from overseas. Through the content of the phone call, they discovered that Lam Dao had a boyfriend, and he was a foreigner who spoke English. After returning home, Pa Ram felt very confused. He thought more and more, and he felt something was wrong. The room had an English conversation, unusual hair, and a face with brown powder. Plus, the cook and Lam Dao never appeared at the same time. He went to find Rika with his questions. He asked Rika if she thought the cook and Lamdao were the same person. Rika recalled their appearance, smiles and looks, and said they were very similar. But she didn't believe that the cook could be Lamdao. The cook was rude, her words and actions didn't show any class. Lamdao was also rough around the edges, but she seemed smarter and her words were sharper. Pa Ram couldn't find an answer, so he just went back home. But as soon as he got home, he saw the cook talking on the phone in English, saying honey over and over again. He said, "Your English is pretty good." The cook was talking a mile a minute when the owner caught her. Lamdao was really embarrassed. All she could do was lie and say she was a high-class chef from Pattaya, so of course she could speak a little English. But her excuse wasn't strong enough to clear up the owner's doubts about who she really was. That night, Pa Ram saw the cook sneaking down from upstairs and quickly followed her. Sure enough, he saw her talking to Sawat. Lamdao was in a hurry because Sawat was going to visit Pa Ram's house the next day. She wanted to ask Sawat for help. After discovering this, Pa Ram snuck into the maid's room. He opened a drawer and found a lot of design sketches. He immediately remembered the architect, Lamdao. Pa Ram's curiosity was finally satisfied, especially when he saw the mole kit and wig belonging to the cook. He was even more sure that the cook was Lamdao, trying to hide the fact that she was Pa Ram's fiancé. But Lamdao didn't know her identity was exposed. As soon as she came back, she saw Pa Ram standing in the corner, which scared the daylights out of her. Pa Ram asked her what she was doing, sneaking out in the middle of the night to meet her lover. Lamdao didn't hesitate to say that a beautiful girl like her, of course, needed to have a few backup options. Pa Ram thought every girl was beautiful, but that beauty was something within each girl. The most valuable beauty was having a kind heart. "That's right. I'm intelligent, beautiful, and I love children," she said. Pa Ram didn't agree with what Lamdao said, calling her a hypocrite. She was fooling him and others. Lamdao said, "Who can fake it better than Rika, your fiancé?" "Yes," he replied, "my fiancé. But sadly, I don't like her." Lamdao got angry. She said, "A good person like Lamdao has to get engaged to a guy who can't see her worth." She got angrier and angrier, then stormed off. Pa Ram looked at the brown powder on his hands. "If you don't want to play, just wait." Lamdao. Knowing her grandmother was coming, Lamdao quickly prepared the ingredients, finished cooking the rice, and then ran to Sawat's house to hide. But Pa Ram had already guessed her plan. To make it hard for Lamdao to give up, he invited Rika to work together. He wanted to show Lamdao that he already had a girlfriend, forcing her to break off the engagement. But Lamdao, wanting to avoid her grandmother, ran away. Lamdao wondered why Pa Ram left after Rika arrived. Pa Ram said he didn't want to marry Lamdao, so of course he didn't need to meet her family. He said they both had the same intentions. It wasn't just him that didn't want to get married. Lamdao didn't want to marry a playboy like him either. So she decided she had to bring Rika to meet her grandmother, so she could see what a womanizer Pa Ram was, and give up on forcing her into the marriage. After the fake couple met, the beautiful Rika appeared at the front door of Pa Ram's house. But she was greeted with a bucket of water. "Huh? Are you crazy?" To used this greeting, following the orders of her boss, who was hiding behind the door. "You're really insane. Open the door for me," she yelled, making a mocking gesture. But Lamdao liked to help others, and led Rika inside through another door. Lamdao knew that Rika had come to break off the engagement, and she wanted that too. But there were a lot of challenges along the way. Rika had to overcome them all to get inside. Lamdao saw the beautiful girl struggling to climb over, feeling sorry for her long legs. There was no other way. She had to pull Rika's legs and push her bottom up. It wasn't easy, but eventually she got Rika inside. "Now, you and I can meet Pa Ram's girlfriend." "What are you doing, assistant?" "Don't bother me." "Yes, don't bother me anymore. I'm busy." "You're so annoying." "I told you I was busy." "Master?" "Yes, it's me." Pa Ram pulled Lamdao into the house. He wanted her grandmother to personally expose her identity, but something interesting was happening in the dining room. Her grandmother tasted several dishes and realized they were cooked in the same way as her granddaughter. She was sure that Pa Ram's cook was her granddaughter. While they were talking, Rika walked in. Rika came in to declare her claim. Her success angered her grandmother so much that she almost hit her. Rika was kicked by her grandmother, but she wasn't angry. She told her grandmother that she and Pa Ram were truly in love. She also said that forced things wouldn't have a good ending. She advised her grandmother to cancel the forced marriage plan. The meal was disrupted, and her grandmother was no longer in the mood to eat. She left with her grandson. As soon as they left, Pa Ram pulled Lam Dao along with him. Seeing that she wouldn't listen, Pa Ram grabbed the water hose and sprayed her. He wanted to wash away the brown powder on her body, revealing her fair skin. The loud noise caused everyone to come over. "Look, Mom." "Ah." Pa Ram wanted to take off the cook's clothes. "Are you crazy?" Pa Ram wanted to pull off her wig, but coincidentally Pan spoke up, saying she had left. Lam Dao was relieved and quickly hid behind her boss. Her boss felt that her son was bullying the maid, which was very embarrassing. Pa Ram said he just didn't want to marry Lam Dao. Her mother thought Rika was determined to marry into their family, because they were rich. Once she realized they weren't rich, she would start saying harsh things and reveal her true colors. Lam Dao agreed with her boss. She knew that Pa Ram's family had a lot of debt. Her boss really wanted her son to marry a rich girl, hoping to use the marriage to help her son pay off his debts. To gather evidence, Lam Dao snuck into Pa Ram's room again. She just needed to find the family's loan documents. She could prove she was right, and then tell her grandmother the truth. But she searched everywhere and couldn't find them. All she found was the owner of the house. Lam Dao yelled, demanding Pa Ram put on some clothes. But Pa Ram said this was his room, and she had no right to tell him what to do. Seeing the cook embarrassed, Pa Ram was delighted. Lam Dao's cunning was his greatest joy. But he went too far, and he ended up being the one harmed. "So you like it like this, master?" "Yes, come here." Lam Dao escaped and ran away, leaving Pa Ram laughing alone. He wondered what Lam Dao was doing in his room, and guessed she was up to something. Back in her room, Lam Dao still couldn't calm down. Her heart was racing. She felt like she was floating, and her dopamine was still rushing. Even though she covered her face with her hand in embarrassment, her expression revealed a smile that showed her true feelings. Lam Dao tried to calm down. She realized that every time she played a prank, something unexpected happened to the owner. She was determined to figure out what was going on. The next morning, to get revenge on the owner for teasing her, she made a meal that he would never forget. That's why we have these delicious dishes. The cook served the owner with a gentle and careful hand. Each dish had a unique flavor, either very spicy or very sour. It wasn't salty, then it was bitter. It wouldn't be fair to her effort if it didn't give him a stomachache. This was the result. As Lam Dao remembered about that moment, she didn't realize Pa Ram was right behind her. He signaled Mei Ri Lin to be quiet, but his unreliable teammate held up 2 fingers in response. Pa Ram generously raised his whole hand and went behind the cook. Lam Dao needed something, he would give it to her. She poured a whole bottle of vinegar into the dish, and the same with the salt, not afraid to waste a whole jar. She even added more seasoning that would give him diarrhea. This girl, a pill this big, and so many of them. Are you trying to kill the owner? The cook didn't want to disappoint the owner, so she quickly brought out the dishes she had prepared with care. She confidently patted her chest and said, "I'm sure he'll like it." Pa Ram was grateful for her hard work and didn't want to disappoint her. "Sit down and eat with me." Lam Dao had secretly put a lot of things in the food to play a prank, but she didn't expect Pa Ram to see everything she did. After the rice was cooked, he asked her to sit down and eat with him. He even told Tai to get another set of plates and chopsticks, which shocked the cook. Lam Dao knew best how much she had put in the rice. She came up with all kinds of reasons to refuse the invitation, but he kept pushing her to sit down, so she had no choice but to comply. Pa Ram said, "Didn't you say it was delicious? If it's good, eat some more." Seeing her small hands trembling, Pa Ram was kind enough to scoop up spoonfuls of rice for her, but her hands still trembled uncontrollably. Pa Ram said, "Don't worry. Don't be so polite. If you don't, I'll feed you myself." The cook was very pressured, so she put some plain rice into her mouth. "The rice is really good. You try it too." Under the owner's watchful eye. "Wow, it's really good." "Then eat it all." Pa Ram was very enthusiastic and served her every dish. He picked up a little bit of each dish for her because it was delicious. After a few bites, Lam Dao's stomach started to act up. "My stomach feels wrong. I need to go to the bathroom." But she had only taken a few steps when the owner stopped her, put his arm around her shoulder, and pushed her back to her seat. He advised her to appreciate the food and enthusiastically fed her. "One more spoonful. Open your mouth wide." "What? You won't open your mouth?" "Open up quickly." There were sounds of rumbling in her stomach. Pa Ram thought he wouldn't let her get away with this. He was sure she was about to give in. "Oh my, you'll get diarrhea and die." The cook went to the bathroom and blasting fireworks, going back and forth over and over again. Because she had been to the bathroom so many times, she didn't have any nutrients left, and the cook collapsed on the floor. The poor cook. who was trying to prank someone, ended up harming herself. The next day, she still had to hold her unstable stomach to prepare a sumptuous meal, because the beautiful Rika was coming to eat at their house. After learning that the cook was his fiancé, Pa Ram tried to force her to give up on marrying him. He deliberately showed affection for Rika in front of her, being very intimate with her. He wanted everyone to know that they were a perfect match. While Pa Ram was acting in front of the cook, he didn't know he had been caught by someone else. His mother, wanting to test Rika's character, had hired 2 people to pretend to be creditors. "Please help us out. Don't worry. This is easy. No need to be concerned." Her mother wanted to test Rika's character, so she hired 2 comedic actors, the 2 debt collectors, wearing their extra-large clothes, sang as they entered the gate, "Ooh, you eat so well, you eat so much, you have such a thick face, but you won't pay your debts." The woman's voice was as sour as pickled cucumbers, making everyone lose their appetite. After joining forces, they started talking about Pa Ram's debt. Their 2 menacing faces scared Rika to the point of tears. But after seeing the delicious food on the table, their unprofessional attitude was evident on their faces. The 2 chubby ladies took out their lunchboxes, preparing to take food away, like they hadn't eaten in years. The owner of the house wanted to eat it herself, but all they wanted was profit. They quickly cleaned the plates of food like locusts. And they were angry with the owner of the house. "If you don't pay up next time, we'll take this villa." The 2 ladies' clumsy acting fooled everyone except Rika, Pa Ram, and the owner of the house. Lamdao, however, believed it was real, and went to find her best friend to confide in with a troubled heart. As soon as she left, her grandmother and brother arrived. Upon learning the situation, they couldn't wait to see if the plan was successful. They rushed to the house to see what was going on. As soon as they entered, they saw Rika, whose face was clearly unhappy, as if she had a lot on her mind. Her grandmother angrily said, "Pa Ram's mother, don't worry, it's just a few 100,000 baht. What's the big deal? I'll pay it for you, it's all family anyway." Rika was angry after hearing that, and stepped forward to mock them. "Grandma, are you saying that you can't find a man? So you're using money to buy a poor man?" Mrs. Lamdao didn't want to waste words on Rika. "You've been sitting too long, you need to move around a little." Lamdao and Sawat, after exposing the debt of Pa Ram's family, were about to go back when they saw 2 families having a lively conversation. They heard the owner saying that their cook was from Framaran Palace, but was ugly, not comparable to anyone else. Her grandmother, who was already suspicious of Lamdao's identity, said that everyone in Ubon Ratchathani knew her, and that there was no one she didn't know. Pa Ram also wanted to stand in front of her and expose the cook's identity. Lamdao heard someone coming inside and quickly hid in the steam bag. Pa Ram saw the slippers and the incense bag that was smoking, and an idea popped into his head. He wanted to quickly find Lamdao and return to claim his relative, but the 2 cross-gender best friends were hiding in the steam bag. So let's see how long the 2 of them can hide in that bag. Half an hour passed, and the assistant didn't want his master to suffer, but with his IQ, he was powerless. Another half hour passed, and the 2 of them were about to be steamed. They came up with all kinds of ways. Ta and the assistant took turns trying to help, but Pa Ram still refused to leave. The 2 best friends were suffering, hiding for so long in the incense bag. One of them let out a fart, and both of them smelled it. The stench couldn't escape. They were about to suffocate. It wasn't until Sawat's mother came back that it ended. Lamdao was finally freed. Rika was also sitting with her best friend, plotting. Her friend learned that Pa Ram's family had a large debt, and asked her if she still wanted to marry into that family. Rika said honestly that she didn't want any more, but she hadn't found a replacement yet. If she left now, the story, which had just begun and was at its climax, would have to end. She hired a team of dog catchers, obtained a lot of information, and she wasn't willing to just leave. The cook, not worried at home, liked to go out for a walk in the middle of the night, and she caught a hot scene. Pretending not to see anything, she walked slowly past. She wanted to find her best friend to talk about the design, but Pa Ram wasn't just closing his eyes to exercise. He quickly discovered the cook. He asked her what she was doing out here in the middle of the night, not sleeping? Lamdao said she went out to exercise, wanting to work out so she could be strong as an ox and have the strength to serve the owner. She also said sadly that she didn't have strong lungs like someone else, so she could only exercise like this. Pa Ram was in the mood and said that he was tired of exercising and wanted to go out and breathe some fresh air. Lamdao sniffed. She could smell it. Why was it so smelly? She said she couldn't get a whiff of fresh air, she only smelled sweat. Pa Ram didn't get angry and asked her where she wanted to go. She said she had a dinner date with her boyfriend. Pa Ram even teased her. You have a foreign boyfriend. You also have the assistant who likes you. You're still not satisfied, and you're on Facebook looking for hot guys. Can you handle them all? Lam Dao immediately said back, "What about you, master? Have you chosen yet? Have you chosen your fiancé or the beautiful Rika?" Pa Ram looked at his fiancé in front of him and pretended to say seriously, "I think I like my fiancé a little more. Go on." Seeing the warm and handsome man, the cook was embarrassed and fell down, once again falling into Pa Ram's arms. Her mouth curved into a smile, as if she was enjoying the feeling of skin-to-skin contact. But when she turned her back to Pa Ram, she looked embarrassed and ashamed. If Pa Ram saw, wouldn't he be smitten with her? Dopamine truly keeps girls forever young. Lam Dao had proven it. Even though she had been editing designs all night, she didn't have any dark circles under her eyes, and her spirit was very good. Especially after seeing the owner, her eyes seemed to know how to smile, and she looked very excited. But when the conversation turned to Rika, she couldn't hide her angry expression. Pa Ram didn't expose her. He drove her to the market and even teased her, saying he really wanted to meet Lam Dao. He personally told her, "I don't want to marry you." Upon hearing these words, Lam Dao was very angry and demanded to get out of the car. Pa Ram didn't hesitate and led her off at a deserted place. "I'm sure you're going to get lost." Lam Dao walked a long distance before reaching the market, but she was so hungry that she had to buy some hot dogs and eat them right away. But she hadn't eaten 2 bites when she ran into a strange person. The cook went to the market to buy food and encountered a strange beggar. His frightening appearance scared Lam Dao to death. Lam Dao ran, but he blocked her at the other end. When they came face to face, Lam Dao was scared out of her wits, and she ran as fast as she could. But because she was so worried, she went back and forth, and ended up back where she started. The beggar asked her if she was tired. Lam Dao replied truthfully, but she felt something was wrong. So she panicked and screamed, then ran away. At a crossroads, Lam Dao bumped into a cart, and the beggar grabbed her. He stole the food from her hand, but he didn't do anything else to her. Lam Dao started to grumble and complain. "If you're hungry, you should say so. How am I supposed to know what you want if you don't say anything?" Pa Ram was also chasing after her. Lam Dao glanced at the owner who arrived late, making her suffer. "The horse has already run away. What good does it do to return now? What were you doing while I was running for my life?" Pa Ram asked her if she needed him to take her back. Lam Dao was still angry about Pa Ram abandoning her on the road, and she was determined not to let him take her back. She took out her wallet and confidently said, "With money, I can take a taxi. I don't need to beg anyone." But she forgot that her pocket didn't have a bottom, so her wallet had fallen out. Pa Ram picked up the wallet, but he didn't tell her, and he hinted again that he would take her home. But this stubborn cook was still very angry, and there was no way he could leave before her. As he drove past Lam Dao, he asked her a third time, but her answer was the same as before. Looking at the owner's car leaving, she touched her pocket, intending to buy some more food, but after touching it for a while, her face began to change. "Oh no, I searched all over, but I couldn't find a single bot." She looked up at the blazing sun. It seemed like she had no choice but to rely on her short legs to go home. Pa Ram found a family photo in the cook's wallet. After returning to work, Pa Ram still had a sly smile. He saw his colleague with a wide mouth and happily shared his joy with him. He said he had a dinner date tonight with his underclassmen. Pa Ram knew the person. It was his neighbor, Sawat. But the person that the wide-mouthed man had a crush on didn't show up. Seeing him mention Lam Dao, Pa Ram steered the conversation toward this topic, getting a lot of information about Lam Dao from his colleague. The wide-mouthed man couldn't stop praising Lam Dao. He said that when they were in college, Lam Dao was the goddess of the school. She was beautiful, kind, and a good student. In short, she had many advantages. He also said that this time, Lam Dao came back to Thailand because she was forced into marriage by her family. But the wide-mouthed man wasn't without a chance, because Lam Dao didn't like her fiancé at all. He heard that she hated him so much that she didn't want to see him. He guessed that her fiancé must be very ugly. Selfish, greedy, foul-mouthed, smelly. In short, he must be the kind of ugly that offends the eyes. The girl walked 20 kilometers. She was so tired that she couldn't stand up. She could only crawl to her room on her hands, but she had a high fever after lying down for a while, and she was unconscious. Her colleagues discovered that she was unconscious and quickly called for help everywhere. From the owner who was working to the hospital to the neighbor Sawat, they all surrounded the cook. Pa Ram carried the cook to the car. He was very worried. The cook had a high fever and was unconscious, and it was his fault. He heard his mother say that she walked in the sun for 20 kilometers. Teo stood beside him and added, "She probably lost her wallet and didn't have money to take a taxi back. If she had taken a taxi back, she wouldn't be so tired." Pa Ram felt even more self-reproachful as he listened. Looking at the cook who was unconscious, he couldn't help but feel sorry and worried for her. Fortunately, the doctor gave her an injection, and she would wake up in a while. The doctor was also Pa Ram's colleague, and he curiously asked what the patient's relationship was to him. Pa Ram said the cook was the girl in his house. His colleague didn't understand, but he could see the concern he had for her, and was very interested in knowing what happened to the girl after she recovered. The doctor also advised that, after the cook woke up, she should see a psychiatrist. Because not many beautiful fair-skinned people turn themselves into dark girls like this. Unless they have mental problems, Pa Ram didn't agree, nor did he disagree. Lam Dao wanted to play a prank, so she did. He stuck the black mole back on her face. Looking at her beautiful but completely brown face, he unconsciously smiled. But then he remembered that he had stuck the mole on upside down. He gently adjusted Lam Dao's hair. Perhaps Pa Ram himself didn't realize that he was the owner of the house, but he cared for a maid like this. This concern seemed to go beyond the ordinary. Pa Ram was just about to turn and leave when he heard Lam Dao call out. She kept calling for her mother, and she said she was very cold. He turned back and covered her with a blanket, but Lam Dao grabbed his hand. Looking at her pitiful face, he felt both remorse and sympathy. In his heart, a kind of unspoken feeling began to emerge, different from the warm, quiet space of the hospital room. The press conference that Sawat attended was very lively. Rika stood in front of the reporters, deliberately revealing her relationship with Pa Ram, and said that they were already considering marriage. Sawat was very unhappy with Rika's appearance, but he quickly discovered that the beautiful Rika had many tricks up her sleeve. A handsome, tall man suddenly appeared at the meeting. Rika saw him and thought that he was handsome and rich. He would be the perfect replacement for Pa Ram. So she intentionally fell into his arms. He politely apologized, but didn't continue talking. Rika had no choice but to fall again, and she pretended to have a leg injury and needed someone to take care of her. But the guy was already taken and didn't feel anything about Rika's coquetry, which made her very angry. She wasn't taken care of as well as Lam Dao. The owner was always by her side to take care of her. Until Lam Dao woke up. When she opened her eyes, the first person she saw was Pa Ram, the rich heiress who was pretending to be a maid, but the owner discovered her true identity. But Pa Ram didn't expose her, and he quietly stayed by Lam Dao's side until she woke up. He also said that she liked to appear strong. His concern and reprimand in his words were misunderstood by Lam Dao. She thought he was mocking her. She thought that the owner had cruelly abandoned her in a desolate place. Pa Ram said that she had refused to get in the car. The two of them argued, and then somehow they bumped into each other. Seeing the cook's pale face, Pa Ram couldn't help but swallow. He helped her to bed and said softly, "You have to rest if you want to recover quickly." The owner's gentle attitude made the cook become spoiled. Pa Ram saw Lam Dao's childish behavior and quickly explained that he just didn't want her to quit. After Pa Ram left, Lam Dao was still angry. Then she saw her favorite noodles at the head of the bed. She was surprised and moved, and she quickly called her best friend to tell her that this was her favorite dish to eat when she was working at Pa Ram's house. She wanted to eat it many times, but she didn't dare to buy it. But Pa Ram knew that Lam Dao liked this dish the most, and he bought it for her. Lam Dao suspected that Pa Ram already knew her true identity. Sawat also realized that the concern Pa Ram had for Lam Dao went beyond the concern a master had for a maid. But when she looked at herself in the mirror, she forgot about her true appearance. Pa Ram had only met Lam Dao a few times. How could he know? While she was lost in thought, Pa Ram came up to her and asked if she had recovered. Lam Dao said she was feeling better. Pa Ram agreed and said, "Our cook is like iron. She can endure everything." Yes, she can endure everything. Lam Dao didn't want to criticize him, but Pa Ram didn't understand. If you're feeling better, go back to work. Pa Ram and his mother had discussed it. They would use the cook's salary to pay for her hospital bills, medicine, and even her food while she was in the hospital, including the cost of the car to visit her and the cost of the car to pick her up from the hospital tomorrow. Lam Dao was very upset when she heard this. She said that she didn't need them to pick her up. She could go by herself. Sure, no problem. Pa Ram was very obedient, and he let the cook go home by herself. As soon as she entered the house, before she could say a few words to her boss, she was told by the owner to go cook, because Rika was coming today. When the owner heard the name Rika, she got angry. Pa Ram said that he was going to marry Rika. She'll be family soon. You shouldn't have prejudices against her like that. Lam Dao swept the yard and couldn't help but mutter, Pa Ram has a personality problem. He should have said he had a girlfriend from the start. Wouldn't that have been easier? Why make things so complicated? Pa Ram asked her, "What's finished?" While the cook was cleaning, she couldn't help but criticize the owner for being a playboy. Pa Ram said, "You're also very promiscuous. You have a foreign boyfriend. You also have the assistant who likes you. and you're looking for a group of single guys on Facebook." Lam Dao didn't deny it. To resolve the awkward situation, she shifted her target to tease the owner. Pa Ram quickly stepped back, but he couldn't avoid the cook's attack. Seeing the maid becoming more and more unruly, Pa Ram couldn't let himself become the one being teased by a woman, so he went from being attacked to attacking. "Master? I also want to know, what do I feel for you?" "No, master." In that moment, their lips were about to touch, when the beautiful Rika appeared at the wrong time and asked what they were talking about. To avoid being misunderstood, Lam Dao lied. "The owner told me to prepare dinner for Rika." Rika also cooperated and said, "I'm hungry too, you go make dinner quickly." After saying that, she leaned her head on Pa Ram's shoulder, which made Pa Ram very embarrassed. The owner didn't like this leggy girl. She asked Rika why she dared to come here. Rika said that she loved Pa Ram, no matter if he was rich or poor, or had a lot of debt. She wasn't afraid. After eating, Rika asked Pa Ram, "I've been very persistent, but I'm not sure if the owner will cancel the engagement, because she values Lam Dao very much." While they were talking, the cook appeared. She saw their intimacy, and she felt very uncomfortable. She was about to leave when Rika called her back and told her to open the door for her. After seeing the cook, Pa Ram also deliberately hugged the person that Lam Dao hated, deliberately sprinkling dog food in front of her. Lam Dao saw this and was very upset. When Rika was about to leave, she called the cook out, took 300 yuan from her bag to bribe Lam Dao, and told her that when Lam Dao's family came, she should chase them away. She also said that her whole family were shameless people. Only a vicious person like the cook could deal with them. Rika didn't know that the cook was Lam Dao, so she was so angry that she was speechless. Lam Dao said, "Rika is a vicious villain. In the end, if she doesn't end up in jail, she'll have to kneel in the corner and eat her food." Rika hated the cook more and more, and she couldn't resist wanting to hit her. Lam Dao was slapped, but she wasn't angry. She just laughed and continued to tease Rika. She didn't want to hide her hatred and contempt for Rika. As soon as Lam Dao returned, she met the owner. Pa Ram told her to be obedient and listen to Rika, because no matter what, he wasn't going to marry Lam Dao. The cook immediately retorted, saying that Lam Dao definitely didn't want to marry him either. That night, when Lam Dao was on the phone with her mother, her grandmother snatched the phone. Her grandmother asked, "What's wrong with Pa Ram that you hate him so much?" Lam Dao was also very straightforward, and said that the doctor was selfish, greedy, foul-mouthed, liked to scold people and thought highly of himself, plus Pa Ram didn't want to marry her. This statement made the person on the other end of the line suspicious. Lam Dao had no choice but to pretend that she had lost signal and hung up the phone. The phone call made Tenicorn suspect that his sister had planted a spy in Pa Ram's house. The next day, he went to the agency to find Pa Ram and told him that his sister might have planted a spy in his house. Pa Ram laughed after hearing this and denied Tenicorn's speculation, saying that his sister didn't plant a spy in his house. But Lam Dao was the spy. Seeing that Tenicorn didn't believe him, Pa Ram brought out the evidence. The rich heiress disguised herself as a maid to test her fiancé's character. She thought that no one would recognize her, but she didn't know that everyone knew that she was Lam Dao. The cook didn't know this, so she continued to pretend. She took advantage of the owner's inattention and put her wig in Pa Ram's room. She tiptoed carefully, looking left and right as she went, afraid of making noise and being discovered by the owner. Although it was very difficult, she successfully infiltrated the enemy's room. She took her disguise items and secretly hid them in Pa Ram's closet, and she muttered, "The most dangerous place is the safest place." After she finished, her mother called and said that her grandmother was sick because she missed her. Lam Dao heard that she was sick and quickly packed her things and ran to ask her boss to leave. The owner was very empathetic and thought that her grandmother was about to pass away, so she immediately agreed to the cook's request. Go back. Go back. When old people are about to die, they're uncomfortable, aren't they? When they're uncomfortable." Before Lam Dao left, the owner, who is usually very stingy, gave her 10,000 baht this time and gave her instructions as if she were her own daughter. She said, "You need to be saving money at home, but you need to take good care of yourself when you're out. If you don't have enough money to spend, call home." Lam Dao was very moved and quickly refused, saying that the owner still had debts and that she didn't need the money. The owner laughed. "What debt?" She didn't finish her sentence when she saw Pan coming. Lam Dao's misunderstanding about Pa Ram's debt was still unresolved. After Pa Ram learned that the cook had gone home, he said that he wanted to go to Lam Dao's house to talk, which made his mother very happy. This stupid boy, has he finally realized? She encouraged her son, "Don't be shy. Go boldly and woo the girl." She urged him to move as fast as possible. "If you don't bring Lam Dao back, don't come home either." When Lam Dao's grandmother heard that her granddaughter was coming back, she was so happy that she got up and danced, and then her granddaughter came back while she was dancing. So she immediately pretended to be sick, pretending to be seriously ill. Lam Dao wasn't stupid. She guessed that she was faking it, but since she was already back, she stayed at home for 2 days before leaving. But she took a week off. Lam Dao didn't expect that Pa Ram would come before she returned. He came under the pretense of visiting her grandmother, but in reality, he was looking for Lam Dao. This made Lam Dao think that her grandmother had faked being sick to lure her back, so that Pa Ram could follow her. She felt like she was being tricked by the whole family, and she felt very disgusted with the owner. Her mother noticed that she wasn't happy, and quickly introduced Pa Ram to her. "This is Pa Ram, your fiancé. But I don't want to meet him." The rich heiress was forced into marriage by her family, and her fiancé came to her house. Lam Dao felt like she was being tricked by the whole family. She got angry and slammed the door and left. Pa Ram quickly followed behind and said, "Hi, nice to meet you." "Don't talk to me as if you know me," Pa Ram said. "We've actually met before, and I can't forget you even if I met you just once." Those words were unbearable for Lam Dao. She slightly curled her lips and left, avoiding Pa Ram's eyes. Seeing that his teasing had worked, Pa Ram quickly followed her and said, "You're so forgetful," and recounted the story of her injured foot at the restaurant. Lam Dao had no choice but to admit it, but she also expressed her attitude towards marriage. She said that it was just arranged by her parents, and in reality, she and Pa Ram couldn't be together. Pa Ram agreed with her. Lam Dao continued, saying that Pa Ram had a girlfriend, which made things complicated. "And for me, my boyfriend will be back from abroad in a few months. You understand, right?" Pa Ram understood, but he still didn't agree to cancel the engagement. He said that their marriage was arranged by their parents, and they were their inferiors. They couldn't say anything about it. Hearing this, Lam Dao was very angry. She had already rejected him outright. Why was Pa Ram still so shameless? She thought that he was definitely eyeing her family's assets to get money to pay off his mother's debts. She forgot that saying this would hurt Pa Ram. Pa Ram was hurt, and he got excited and said that he never had any intentions toward her family's assets. He just followed his mother's arrangement, and he had his own reasons. Lam Dao asked him what the reason was, but Pa Ram didn't say anything, which made Lam Dao believe that he was after her family's assets. The reason was that Pa Ram's family owed her grandmother a favor and needed to repay her. But Pa Ram couldn't say it, and he didn't dare to say it. He just said, "Someone like you can't understand my reasons." Pa Ram felt hurt and mumbled to himself, "What does she think? She thinks I'm getting married for money?" He heard Lam Dao muttering to herself, "I'm not stupid enough to let Pa Ram use my money to support Rika." The next day, Pa Ram angrily flew back to Bangkok. Lam Dao also told her grandmother her reason. She said that Pa Ram's family was in debt, so they were shameless enough to want to marry her. Her grandmother knew the truth of the matter very well, but she didn't say it. Instead, she told Lam Dao to gather evidence of Pa Ram's family's debt. As long as she had evidence, she wouldn't force Lam Dao anymore. After Pa Ram returned home, he didn't dare tell his mother about Lam Dao's rejection. He was afraid that she would be heartbroken, so he just said that he didn't meet Lam Dao. As for Lam Dao, the matter at home was settled, and she also needed to return to her master's house to pretend to be a cook and gather evidence. Lam Dao had just returned from her house when she was hit by a motorcycle. The man got off the motorcycle and refused to apologize. He even blamed Lam Dao. "Where were your eyes at?" Fortunately, someone witnessed the whole thing and was able to rescue the cook. Seeing that she couldn't stand up, Atsawin enthusiastically helped and carried Lam Dao to the hospital. Pa Ram passed by and witnessed the whole thing, and he couldn't help but feel jealous. He went home and waited for Lam Dao in a jealous mood. When he saw the man speaking in the local dialect, he said that he also lived here. "Really?" "Yes, really." He also deliberately spoke in the local dialect. Pa Ram assumed that this man was intentionally speaking in the local dialect to flirt with his cook, especially when he heard Atsawin say that his family owned 3 companies and told her that Lam Dao could attend for free. Pa Ram felt even more uncomfortable. "Go inside first." "No, I'll get in the car first." "Go inside first." "I'll get in the car." "Go inside first." "I'll go in first." After Lam Dao went inside, she noticed a shadow on the floor. Then she heard a familiar voice. Pa Ram saw someone driving her home. "Go inside first." "No, I'll get in the car first." Lam Dao asked, "Did you secretly eavesdrop?" "That's not good at all." Lam Dao didn't realize the jealous tone in his voice. But the more jealous Pa Ram was, the happier Lam Dao was. While she was happy, she added fuel to the fire. Atsawin is handsome, kind, and rich. Although she knew she was a poor cook, He wasn't arrogant or looked down on her. He wasn't like a certain doctor who just bullied maids. Early the next morning, Atsawin discovered Lamdao's medicine in the car and quickly brought it to her. But he was caught by Rika, and it made Rika very angry. She took the initiative to fall into Atsawin's arms, but he didn't need her, and he liked a girl who was inferior to her in every way. A beautiful girl like her couldn't even compare to an ugly girl. Rika was furious and lunged to slap the cook, but she couldn't do it this time. But it's okay. Atsawin wasn't interested in her, but there were still other people who cared about her. So she pretended to trip and fell into Pa Ram's arms. She also told him her grievances and said that she didn't want to pretend to be his girlfriend anymore. She wanted to be his real girlfriend. But Pa Ram didn't love Rika, and it was better to continue acting. Rika couldn't accept it, so she took the initiative to kiss Pa Ram on the cheek to seduce him. Lamdao was hiding in the corner and quickly took out her phone to take a picture. This was definitely important evidence, but her phone died and automatically shut down. Lamdao complained about her phone's bad battery while applying medicine to the wound on her hand. The owner walked by and saw the cook's injured hand. She scolded her and applied medicine for her. Lamdao saw that the owner cared for her, so she was very touched. Pa Ram saw this scene and felt that Lamdao was very selfish. Her mother treated her so well, but Lamdao thought her mother only cared about her family's assets. Lamdao wanted to gather evidence, so she bought a lot of good things, bugging devices, miniature cameras, everything she needed. It wasn't long before she had a chance to use these things. Rika, wanting to turn a fake relationship into a real one, dragged her suitcase into Pa Ram's room. Lamdao took the recorder and went to the owner's room. She stood close to the door, hoping to record something. But in her hurry, she made a noise, which made the two people in the room realize that there was someone outside. The two of them tacitly understood each other and began to act. Acting was Rika's expertise, especially these kinds of hot scenes. Lamdao was also ready to record outside the door, but as soon as she turned on the recorder, Pan came. It took a lot of effort to get rid of Pan, and she was about to listen for any movement. When the door opened, Lamdao saw the hot scene in front of her. It turned out that they had such special preferences. She was so embarrassed that she blushed. She muttered, "The owner is a pervert." Then she left in embarrassment, and she found a band-aid to stick over one eye. The reason was that she didn't want to see those dirty things. After Lamdao left, Pa Ram told Rika to stay there, and he went to his mother's room to sleep. Rika didn't agree to this. She decided that no matter what, she wanted everyone to know that she and Pa Ram had spent the night together. To create a buzz, Rika spread fake news. She threw the underwear she brought in the trash. She wanted to hang each piece in the yard, so that everyone in the area could see. Rika gave the basket of clothes to the cook, making the person she hated wash each piece by hand. This made Lamdao very disgusted. There was a pile of clothes, either shirts or underwear. She felt like she was going to faint from the smell, but Rika still wanted her to wash them by hand. To get evidence, Lamdao had to endure it. But it wasn't over yet. Rika wanted to show that she was the owner, so she threw her used paper all over the house. The garbage was all over the place, and it made Lamdao very angry. After Rika saw the cook come in, she stood in front of her and threw garbage everywhere. Lamdao couldn't take it anymore, so she gave her 2 garbage cans and left. "I'm not doing this anymore, do whatever you want." Seeing that the cook was disrespectful, Rika was angry, so she kicked over the garbage can and went to find Lamdao. She was about to grab the cook and slap her a few times, but she slipped and fell because the floor was slippery. Lamdao didn't want to pay attention to Rika, and she told her to stop bothering her. But Rika couldn't swallow her anger. A maid dared to be so disrespectful, and it made her angry. So she pressed the cook down and beat her, and she sat on the cook, smashing her head on the floor. After the cook got up, she was splashed with a bucket of water in the face. The next day, Rika went to the cook again to pick a fight, and she told her to wash all her clothes again. Lamdao didn't do it, so Rika put a towel over the cook's face. This time Lamdao couldn't take it anymore, so she grabbed the towel and threw it back in Rika's face. Pa Ram saw this scene, and Rika poured orange juice on herself, poured the rest on her clothes, and then threw the cup away. She pretended to be pitiful and wronged, and waited for Pa Ram to come and comfort her. Lamdao was falsely accused and quickly explained, but she couldn't clear herself because of the scheming woman's acting skills. Pa Ram thought what he saw was true, so he pulled the cook's arm and took her away to teach her a lesson. But Rika stopped him and sincerely apologized to the cook. She said that she shouldn't have bothered the cook to bring her orange juice, and if she had done anything wrong, she hoped the cook would forgive her. Looking at Rika standing there crying, Pa Ram quickly put his arm around Rika. He scolded the cook and comforted Rika, and then he told the cook to apologize to Rika, or she would get out of the house. "I can't afford a maid like you. You did something wrong, and you won't apologize. You lied to the owner. If you feel too wronged working here, you can leave and find a better place." Lam Dao looked at his cold expression and heartless words, and her heart froze. No matter what she said, no one believed her, and Pa Ram believed everything Rika said. If this was his true character, he didn't ask for clarification. He didn't distinguish between right and wrong, and he believed another girl. Bullying his fiancé, Pa Ram knew that the cook was his fiancé, but he still hurt her. Pa Ram looked at the cook's back as she left, and he felt a little remorse. He was also kicked out of the house in the middle of the night. Lam Dao ran into Tayo and the assistant. Seeing the cook crying miserably, they quickly ran over to comfort her. They asked her what was wrong, and the cook said aggrievedly that the owner had kicked her out. She didn't have any money on her, and didn't know where to go. Tayo also hugged Lam Dao and cried. The assistant said, "You can go to Sa Wat's house to sleep. It's better than sleeping outside all night." After they comforted the cook, Tayo went home and saw Pa Ram putting his arm around Rika. Seeing that Tayo was crying, Pa Ram knew that she had seen Lam Dao and asked her where the cook had gone. Tayo wasn't good at lying, so she said that the cook had gone to Sa Wat's house. "That's fine. Go wherever you want." Hearing the owner's cold words, Tayo was heartbroken and left. After she left, Pa Ram told Rika to go back to her own house. "If my mother comes back and sees that the cook is gone, she won't be happy." After Rika left, Pa Ram mumbled to himself. Did she want to leave for a long time? That's fine. It's okay to end it like this. Lam Dao had the same thought as Pa Ram, and she also mumbled, "It's good to end it like this." The cook was wronged and was kicked out of the house by the owner. When Pan learned about it, he blamed him for being unsympathetic and said his mother liked the cook very much. Pa Ram thought that the cook was a maid who didn't know her place and that he could find someone else to replace her. Pan didn't want to pay attention to him, so he turned and left. Tinacorn's character wasn't so easygoing, so he stepped forward and punched Pa Ram in the face. Pa Ram was punched and didn't have time to react, but he was still angry, and he called Lam Dao's father to come and teach him a lesson. His daughter had suffered so much in Pa Ram's house, and Pa Ram didn't dare to show any attitude. Lam Dao's father said angrily, "No matter what grandma wants to marry Lam Dao to you, I won't agree to this marriage." Pa Ram was lectured all day and couldn't sleep. He was also blaming himself, wondering if he had done something wrong. He wasn't unaware of what Rika was like. It was just that after Lam Dao rejected him, Pa Ram always wanted to win over her or make her less selfish. He remembered Lam Dao's eyes when she left. They were full of grievances and loneliness. He regretted it and knew he was wrong. The next morning, he went to Sawat's house with panda eyes to pick up Lam Dao. Sawat said that the cook had been there last night, but she only stayed for a while and didn't stay at his house. Lam Dao was hiding on the side eavesdropping, but she couldn't hear anything because she was too far away. Seeing her best friend come back, she quickly picked up a book and pretended not to care. Is she really not concerned? Sawat didn't believe it, and he adjusted the book that she was holding upside down. Sawat just teased her a little and said that Pa Ram had come to pick her up. When Lam Dao heard this, her anger vanished, but she had to pretend that she didn't care. Sawat saw that she was putting on airs, so he tried to persuade his best friend. You're just their cook. You're not his girlfriend. You're nothing. And you want him to come and coax you? It's good enough that he came to pick you up. Lam Dao said, Rika is very scheming. She pretends to be weak and blames me. The owner can't tell right from wrong and insists that it's my fault. But Sawat knew better than anyone else. No matter what she said, the cook was just a maid. Rika was Pa Ram's legitimate girlfriend. It's normal for Pa Ram to defend his girlfriend and not defend his maid. Lam Dao still didn't understand this situation. And then she received a call from her foreign boyfriend. Sawat saw this and didn't know what to say. A complicated relationship. Sawat was her best friend, but he didn't know how to handle it. After Pa Ram learned that Lam Dao wasn't at his neighbor's house, he felt even more regretful and self-reproachful. He desperately searching, asking everyone he met for her. He searched from the bus station to the train station, from the airport to the pier, and finally found the cook huddled at the bus station. He had just finished apologizing when he saw that this girl wasn't his cook, so he continued searching day and night. Lam Dao was gone. Pa Ram checked everywhere she'd been. He knew she didn't have any money or a phone. He felt awful and searched for 2 whole days, but couldn't find the cook. Her mom came home from visiting relatives and found out Pa Ram had kicked the cook out. The rich girl who pretended to be a maid got kicked out of her own house by her fiancé. It's easy to mistreat your wife, but it's hard to find her when she's gone. Pa Ram searched the whole bus station, even the train station, but still no sign of Lam Dao. Then, he saw someone familiar. It was Lam Dao. What are you doing here? He said. Oh my goodness, you scared me to death. That girl had a dark face. She was gone all day. Lam Dao was missing. A few days later, her mom came home and found out the cook had been kicked out. She didn't blame the cook though. She went to Sawat's family to ask about her. Seeing how worried she was, Sawat told her the truth. The cook is here with us, he said. Really? With Sawat and his mom's encouragement, Lam Dao decided to go see her boss. Her boss was so happy to see her. She even offered to give her a raise, an extra 500 baht. The boss was always so cheap, but she was willing to do that for Lam Dao. It seemed like she really liked her. When she got back, the cook was still mad at Pa Ram. She wished she could slap him. Her mom started scolding him. From now on, I don't want that girl coming here and touching me, she said. Wow, her mom was awesome. Later, Pa Ram went to see Lam Dao, but no matter what he said, she wouldn't pay attention to him. That made him mad, and he stormed off. Tayu said, they're not even dating. Why would he have to buy her flowers to make things right? It seemed like Tayu was the one who understood things. Pa Ram didn't want to make Lam Dao mad, so he went online to search for advice. How to win a girl's heart. Seriously, you gotta look that up? Everyone knows you just gotta buy. What should he buy? Pa Ram was thinking of buying clothes, but then he imagined the scene. Oh my goodness, how could he even think of that? He already knows her so well. I'm wearing the clothes you bought me. Do they look good, Doc? They're nice, but they're a little too flashy. But wait, Lam Dao changed into something even more stylish, more graceful than a cat. And she can even create cooking utensils. Oh my goodness, this is giving me a headache. It turns out Lam Dao is still mad. She created a pestle, and she was about to use it on Pa Ram. He's in for it. Scary! Pa Ram was so scared, he didn't even want to think about it. But he couldn't come empty-handed. He saw a scarf. The salesperson asked him, what color does your girlfriend like? But Lam Dao is sometimes white and sometimes black. No worries, we have 7 colors. She can wear a different one each day of the week. That makes sense. Pa Ram bought all 7 colors, and then called Tinacorn. He told him that his sister was back, and promised that nothing like that would happen again. Tinacorn forgave him. And everyone in Lam Dao's family finally breathed a sigh of relief. But Lam Dao was already scheming. She had a new trick up her sleeve that would drive her brother crazy. This time, she crushed all the laxatives and dumped them into the pot. Then, Tai came by and brought some for the doctor to try. But they were already full. You can't waste food like that. Don't be shy, this one likes to eat anything. Lam Dao really wanted to eat Tao. But Tai saw the delicious food, and she wanted to eat it. I'm calling the police. Lam Dao, stop it. Don't eat her. Yo. Oh my, that's good. The flavor is a bit strong, Tao. Enough. It's gone. Now Tai knew what was going on. It's always the same. I'm going to the bathroom. But Lam Dao stopped her and said, don't be mad. Don't stop me. I just need to go. Oh my goodness. I smell it. It's so bad. Hurry up and go to the bathroom. That night, Pa Ram took out his gift for Lam Dao, but he was afraid she would get mad. Let me help you with that. It was the 7 colorful scarves he had bought. Lam Dao showed her dislike for them. Don't buy me so many next time. Blue, red, purple, yellow, green, and indigo. If it rains, I can hang them up and make a rainbow. It was true, straight guys really go all out when they get a gift. Pa Ram even took a day off to buy her a gift, and he even gave it to the cook to try. When he saw how she looked, Pa Ram said, you look like a crow that swallowed a chili pepper. Wait for it. Tomorrow, I'll show you. The next morning, Tai brought a group of people into the house, which surprised the boss. Tu said, I brought them here to ask for your number. Lam Dao, disguised as a fairy, acted fierce and strong like a tiger. Normal people wouldn't understand what she was doing. She was just faking being possessed. That girl, she really puts on a show. You came to find me? What's up? Turns out they were all there to ask for lottery numbers. Lam Dao pointed to Pa Ram. They all rushed at him, almost ripping his clothes off. After escaping the crowd, Pa Ram pulled the cook outside. I knew you wanted to win the lottery. Let me show you something. He rubbed the cook's wrist and said, I have proof you're in disguise. Why are you doing this? Fidam? Lam Dao. Did he find out? The guy realized the maid was actually the rich girl. He wanted to wipe off the makeup on her hands. His heart started racing. Pa Ram was suspicious of the dirt on the cook's hands. But Lam Dao said, it's been 3 weeks since I showered. This is dirt from my body. She even rubbed off a little ball of dirt. But Pa Ram didn't believe her. He was determined to find proof that she was his fiancée. That afternoon, the news broke that Rika and Pa Ram were getting married. Her mom was furious. She told To and the cook to find Pa Ram. Just then, Lam Dao saw a phone. Phi damn! That's my phone. It looked like her boss was really angry. Lam Dao's family saw the news too, and they were all mad. Tinacorn quickly calmed everyone down. He said he would go and get the whole story. He also told his friend, "This is your last chance, dude." But Pa Ram wasn't in the room, and his phone was right there. Her mom thought Pa Ram had run off. Meanwhile, Pa Ram was in the cook's room. He was there to find evidence, but he couldn't find anything. He ran into the cook coming back to her room. Lam Dao thought Pa Ram was trying to steal something. She yelled, "Boss! Boss! Come down here!" The boss heard the cook's voice. Pa Ram rushed over and covered her mouth. When Lam Dao got free, some of the makeup on her face had come off. Pa Ram was staring at her, which made Lam Dao freak out. She thought he was going to do something to her. That girl, she really has a wild imagination. Spit it out. What are you trying to do? You won't tell me, huh? Fine, I will. Boss! Boss! Pa Ram finally confessed. I just wanted to know where she keeps her makeup stuff. Oh my goodness, you like this stuff too? This is a surprise. I knew it. How could he admit it now? You won't tell me? Fine, I'll force you to. What do you want? What do you want? They were struggling, and they ended up falling onto the bed. Her mom saw the whole thing. Oh my, this is going to be hard to explain. She asked him, "What are you doing here?" She didn't wait for him to explain. You must be here to bully her, or maybe to harass Tao. This guy. Tay was thrilled. Under her mom's interrogation, Pa Ram finally spilled the beans. That cook is actually someone else in disguise. It's Lam Dao. Pa Ram lunged forward to yank off the cook's wig. He'd finally figured out that the rich girl was pretending to be a maid. Lam Dao ran away. She's going to hell. Luckily, the cook was quick on her feet. No, no, no. Lam Dao ran off. Her mom stopped Pa Ram. He said, the cook's wig isn't the only fake thing. Her brown skin and mole are fake too. Her mom was stunned. He's trying to frame her. She saw his private part, you know. What? His what? Show everyone. They all went to Pa Ram's room, and there was indeed the girl's wig. Oh my goodness, Pa Ram, you really have a lot of quirks. It turned out that Lam Dao had left her spare wig in Pa Ram's room. Even more surprisingly, there was other evidence too. This is the proof. What in the world? This is full of female versions of Pa Ram. There's not even a trace of a cardboard cutout. Even Pa Ram was starting to doubt himself. After a lot of arguing, all of her mom's attention was focused on her son. Didn't you raise a boy disguised as a girl? This guy, you can't reason with him. Her mom was so shocked that she was dizzy. What was she going to do with this kid? Luckily, Lam Dao came to the rescue. I'm definitely going to expose her mask. Go ahead, I'll run. I'll wait for you to come and fight. Pa Ram was really unlucky this time. Her mom didn't believe it was a cardboard cutout. Pa Ram could only promise that he'd get married soon. But he didn't say whether he was married to a boy or a girl. Did he mean a husband? The next day, Pa Ram wanted to go to the beach to relax. Her mom didn't feel comfortable letting him go alone. She was worried that he would bring his boyfriend along, so they went to the beach as a group of 4. It made her mom happy to be at the beach. Pa Ram rarely went to the beach when he was in the south. Hey guys, do you like the beach? Pa Ram chased after Lam Dao as she was leaving. He wanted to get her wet. Her mom saw what was happening and asked Tay, what are they playing? Of course they're playing tag. But her mom only had one thought. My son would never play tag. He really wants to be a girl. That's how worried mothers think. Lam Dao was chased into the water. Suddenly, she saw To drowning. Pa Ram thought Lam Dao was trying to run away. She didn't hesitate and swam towards Tai. When someone is drowning, they will grab onto anything near them. Lam Dao was dragged under the water. Pa Ram swam over to save Lam Dao, and the lifeguard rescued Tai. Thanks to Pa Ram's CPR, Lam Dao coughed up the seawater, but she was completely exhausted. Pa Ram stood anxiously outside, waiting. Tai felt terrible. It was her fault that the cook was hurt. Thankfully, she was out of danger. Pa Ram wanted to go see the cook, and Tai couldn't stop him. If I don't find out today, when will I ever? He looked at his soon-to-be wife lying in bed. His heart began to race. Wanting to save her, Pa Ram continued to do CPR on Lam Dao. After many tries, he finally forced the water out of Lam Dao. Pa Ram was worried about Lam Dao. He looked at her in her true form, lying on the bed. He couldn't control himself and wanted to kiss those lips many times. He fought against it and stopped himself. Pa Ram didn't deny his feelings for Lam Dao. He just didn't want to do anything sneaky when she didn't know. He said hurtful things, but he really cared for her. If pretending to be the cook could make Lam Dao happy, Pa Ram wouldn't expose her true identity. He would even put on black makeup for her. Every warm gesture made viewers swoon. He was afraid that he would hurt her or wake her. He loved and hated this cook. After recovering, Lam Dao was happy and energetic again. She even made her boss a bowl of seafood porridge. Her boss was worried about her getting post-drowning symptoms. She wanted her to go back to Bangkok early. If something happened, at least she would be close to a hospital and doctor. Pa Ram chimed in. She's already right next to a doctor. She even lives with him. If that's not close enough, she'll have to share a room with him. Seeing her usually serious son say something so unusual, her mom's jaw dropped. Lam Dao didn't even have time to react to the boss's teasing before she found an excuse to leave. Pa Ram watched her leave, a smile spreading across his face. After dinner, he stood before the vast sea, replaying his time with Lam Dao in his mind. He cherished her voice and her laughter, never to be forgotten. Pa Ram could forget that he saved a maid, someone like her who was a bit headstrong, but also had a kind heart. Pa Ram realized that he might be in love. His feelings were shown in the way he subconsciously cared for Lam Dao. He gently reminded her to take her medicine on time, and didn't let her do any heavy work. Seeing the boss care for her even in small ways, Lam Dao couldn't hide her happiness. She was both embarrassed and secretly delighted. She told her friends about this sweetness, and Tay was utterly impressed. Watching Tay's exaggerated performance, Lam Dao complained but was secretly delighted. She couldn't deny it. No girl dislikes being loved. Lam Dao felt her heart beating fast, and her emotions were all over the place. She couldn't hide her happiness, which showed on her face. This odd couple had been through so much. Everyone secretly wanted to bring them together. When they went on a beach trip, Sa Wat suggested to Lam Dao's family that they organize a dance. It would be an opportunity to pair them up. Everyone supported the idea. Lam Dao's grandmother organized a series of activities, working with Pa Ram's family to orchestrate everything. Everyone would put on a play, all for the sake of these young lovers. To bring this odd couple together, Lam Dao's family and Pa Ram's family organized a dance party. Lam Dao had no idea this was all about her. She was planning to ask her boss for 3 days off to go back to Muang for her grandmother's party. She figured he would make it difficult, but when she was about to give her reasons for needing time off, she found that he readily agreed, even telling her to hurry back. Lam Dao couldn't believe it was so easy. She thanked him happily. As she left, Pa Ram smiled. That day, he also wrote a request for time off and submitted it to his company. Rika came to find him, sitting beside Pa Ram with a touch of intimacy, but Pa Ram politely pushed her away. He wrote a check and said, "This is the last time I give you money. You don't need to pretend to be my girlfriend anymore. I don't want my fiancé to misunderstand." He also told Rika that she shouldn't announce their relationship to the whole country. Rika was furious and resentful. "You come to me for help when you're in trouble, then you kick me to the curb when you're done. I'm not a ball you can kick around whenever you want. I will make you regret this, even if I have to use dirty tricks." But Pa Ram didn't pay any attention to her. He saw Lam Dao approaching and was incredibly excited for what was going to happen. At Tinakorn's suggestion, Pa Ram put on a matching mask with Lam Dao and joined the party crowd. The music was lively and the dancing was sensual, when a man suddenly appeared and started dancing next to Lam Dao. Lam Dao looked at this crazy guy. "Who is this maniac?" Sa Wat quickly explained, "The mask he's wearing and yours are two real-life stars who are in love." Lam Dao had just put her mask back on when her friend pushed her forward, shoving her into the arms of this crazy guy. But Lam Dao's bad luck didn't stop there. Her brother was messing with her, her best friend was, and even her dear grandmother wasn't forgetting to play her part, all to give this couple a chance to express their feelings in the dark. Lam Dao recognized her boss's voice. To confirm if it was really him, she pulled down his mask in her panic. "Boss!" She recognized that familiar face, and she was completely shocked. The cook ran away instinctively, but he pulled her mask off. It was time to drop the disguise. At this point, Pa Ram revealed Lam Dao's true identity and listed all the evidence she couldn't deny. Since things had gone this far, Lam Dao didn't hide it anymore. I admit that I pretended to be your cook. Why? Because I don't want to marry someone who is after my family's money. Pa Ram had to listen to those cold words once again. But this time, it was Lam Dao's own confession of her reasons that made him even more heartbroken. She said, even though you're handsome on the outside, you're the type who clings to women. You're in the same boat as Rika. A rotten fish hangs out with rotten shrimp. No matter what I say, you won't believe me. Yes. I'm telling you. Cancel that engagement. I don't want to marry you. This was the most heartbreaking scene. They clearly had feelings for each other, but they were saying hurtful things. Look at her. Even though she was happy to be cared for and doted on by Pa Ram, she firmly rejected his confession. Her cold and heartless attitude made the man who had the courage to confess to her afraid to say anything. Lam Dao was so unyielding because of her deep misunderstanding of Pa Ram. She thought Pa Ram wanted to marry her only to repay his mother's debt. Her grandmother told Lam Dao, Pa Ram's family doesn't have any debt. The rumor about the debt was spread to get Rika away from Pa Ram. I was part of the plan. Seeing that the misunderstanding was cleared up, Lam Dao's eyes were red, but she still refused to forgive Pa Ram because he had a girlfriend, Rika. She didn't want to be called a homewrecker. She had already told Pa Ram that she wouldn't marry him. Pa Ram hung his head in silence. He deeply regretted deciding to hire Rika to pretend to be his girlfriend. Her grandmother was experienced. Seeing that her granddaughter was still so resolute, she decided not to try to persuade her anymore. Instead, she went to talk to Pa Ram's mother directly. As she walked to the door, she saw Pa Ram standing there. Lam Dao heard the conversation outside the door. She knew her boss was standing outside, and her heart was a mess. When she walked past Pa Ram, she only glanced at him before hurrying away. Pa Ram chased after her, calling out her real name. He wanted to comfort her, but he ended up with a trembling hand. He respected Lam Dao's decision and told her, if we really aren't compatible, we won't have a forced wedding. It was easy to say, but it wasn't what Lam Dao wanted to hear. She tried to hold back her emotions, but she couldn't stop the tears from falling. No matter how much she wanted to hear Pa Ram comfort her, she refused to say anything. She said, when I go back, I'll quit. That's how this ends. She didn't know that's not how Pa Ram wanted things to end. Seeing the girl he loved heartbroken, he couldn't hide his true feelings anymore. After being rejected by Lam Dao, Pa Ram finally poured out his heart. At first, he hated Lam Dao because he hadn't met her before. Until one day, he found out that his fiancé was Lam Dao, the same cook who always gave him a headache. Pa Ram was happy, but he wanted to win over Lam Dao. He wanted her to admit that she was Lam Dao. How long have you known? I only found out recently. I've fallen in love with you. I guess you heard me talking to my family. We should end this. Pa Ram had heard Lam Dao talking to her family. Even though he had told her his feelings, seeing her cry so heartbreakingly, he didn't know what to do. Pa Ram told Lam Dao, I will leave you. That way, you won't have to be upset anymore. I'm sorry for making you cry. You won't have to cry because of me anymore. He couldn't bring himself to turn and leave. Even though he loved her, why did they always have to hurt each other? By now, everyone at the party had finished eating. Lam Dao's mother brought some snacks over for Pa Ram's mother. But Pa Ram's mom said, I really can't eat anymore. To everyone's surprise, she said a second later, I can pack it up to take home. Lam Dao's mother happily helped her pack the food. That's when Pa Ram's mother said, I want to take it home for Lam Dao and Tao to try. She still remembered the two maids in her house. Pa Ram suddenly appeared, his face serious, and told his mom to go back to Bangkok. Her mom was surprised. I've already booked a hotel for a few days. But Pa Ram insisted they leave immediately. After saying goodbye to everyone, he called for his sister to come along too. Seeing this, Pa Ram's mom reluctantly left. That night, Lam Dao was lying in bed and couldn't sleep. She kept replaying what happened that day. She thought about every word Pa Ram had said, like needles piercing her heart. Sawat, thinking about what happened that day, was worried, so he went to comfort Lam Dao. As soon as she saw him, she hugged him and cried loudly. Once they were in his room, Sawat asked her, You don't have to get married now. Why are you still so sad? Lam Dao confessed everything to Sawat. I think I'm in love with Pa Ram. Sawat wasn't surprised at all. He had sensed it for a while. He didn't try to comfort her, just said, good night. Lam Dao still wanted to hear his opinion before he left, but Sawat held her hand and said, You already have the answer in your heart. You don't need to ask anyone. Who would have known that the next morning, Lam Dao decided to go back to Bangkok with Pa Ram's family. Lam Dao said, Her boss really cares about the cook. I don't want to disappear again and make her sad. After saying goodbye to everyone at the house, she went back to Bangkok. I'm in love with him. Slow down. Slow down. Your teeth are going to hit my face. I'm so embarrassed. Suddenly, T heard the door shut. She couldn't believe they were coming back so soon. She was terrified and didn't know what to do. The houseboy, seeing this, tried to hide behind the headboard, then under the bed, but Tai kept objecting. Tai reassured him. We're just a normal couple. It's not a crime. Why are you so scared? Hearing this, the guy stopped worrying and relaxed. But he was still scared to face the boss and Pa Ram. He wanted to jump out the window and run away. Tai was furious. Did you just want to sleep with me and then run away from responsibility? She demanded that he tell the boss what happened. She's like my daughter, the boss said. If you want to continue being together, you need to tell your parents. Where is the cook now, boss? I'm here, boss. Lam Dao turned around. Everyone was shocked to see her, except for the boss. Pa Ram asked her why she came back. Lam Dao didn't dare tell the truth. She could only say that she didn't want to make the boss sad. She also hoped that after she quit, when the boss thought about the cook, she would have good memories of her. Pa Ram said, you shouldn't be selfish like that. You want everyone to love you like they did before. Lam Dao's heart felt heavy. She wanted to make one last meal for the boss. She remembered the happy days when she was there, how good the boss treated her, how her boss loved her, and how Tai cared for her. But those were just memories now. Lam Dao was planning to leave gracefully and respectfully. She didn't want anything unexpected to happen. Rika came to Pa Ram's house with Tinacorn. Tinacorn saw the cook in front of him. Her disguise could fool others, but not her own brother. Rika heard Tinacorn call out her name and used her hand to pull Lam Dao's wig off. Pa Ram saw the conflict between them and instinctively stood next to Lam Dao. He heard Rika say, you actually want to break up with me to be with someone like her? Break up? Are you and Rika breaking up? Pa Ram didn't answer Lam Dao, but he told Rika, we never broke up. We never loved each other. I just hired you to pretend to be my girlfriend. Lam Dao understood everything, but it was too late. Rika revealed that Lam Dao had a foreign boyfriend. They made a scene, and it drew the boss over. Rika's actions made the boss realize the truth. She never thought that the girl standing before her was the cook she loved most. Looking at the box of pastries on the table, she went outside and decided to say goodbye to the cook. She said, I treated Lam Dao like my own daughter, but I was deceived by her feelings all this time. She told Lam Dao, you don't need to look for excuses to refuse to marry Pa Ram anymore. Because even if you wanted to get married now, I wouldn't agree. After Lam Dao pleaded for forgiveness, she looked one last time at the house filled with memories. She had just finished packing her bags to leave when she saw Rika approach and sneer at her. You're a thief and a con artist. Lam Dao didn't want to pay any attention to her, but Rika pulled her back for no reason, and her things spilled on the ground. She was about to pick them up when Rika kicked them away. This time, Lam Dao didn't put up with it. Rika was about to get her back when she heard Lam Dao's threat. If you dare touch a single fingernail of mine, I can promise you that every day, there will be dozens of people chasing you down. Even though she didn't want to, Rika still believed that Lam Dao could do it. Rika was scared this time. Lam Dao went home to her best friend, Sawat, and confided in him. She then received a call from her foreign boyfriend. He said he had come back from abroad and would be in Bangkok that day. He told her to send him her location. While they were on the phone, Max's wallet fell out, and Rika, who happened to be passing by, picked it up. She opened the wallet and saw a photo of Lam Dao that caught her eye. She realized that this was Lam Dao's foreign boyfriend. At the same time, Pa Ram was sitting in his garden at home, remembering the happy times he had with Lam Dao. But she was gone today and would never come back. After lunch, the boss saw a table full of food that had been ordered in and didn't touch a single chopstick. Pan noticed that neither his mom nor his brother was in the mood to eat. He said, Lam Dao is still at Sawat's house. If you don't go find her, if she moves somewhere far away, or even goes abroad, you will regret it. After hearing Pan's advice, Pa Ram hesitated. Should he go find Lam Dao? After a long pause, he decided to try to salvage this relationship. At the same time, at Sawat's house, Lam Dao was waiting for her foreign boyfriend to come back. Max was able to find her, thanks to Rika. So when Pa Ram arrived, he saw Rika's car parked in front. He quickly spotted the couple. To try and keep his engagement to Lam Dao, Pa Ram gathered his courage and went to see his fiancé. But what he saw was a couple completely in love. Rika enthusiastically introduced the two men, and they learned each other's identities. But they didn't get angry at each other, nor did they pretend to ask after each other. To break the awkward silence, Pa Ram pretended to ask for an excuse, saying he was going to ask his neighbor for some sugar. Then he turned his head with regret, looking at the girl who had made his heart flutter. Although he was regretful, he couldn't get rid of the sense of responsibility in his heart. Rika followed him. This meeting was all orchestrated by Rika. She thought that doing this could make Pa Ram change his mind, but the answer she got was an absolute no. Pa Ram said bluntly, "No man would truly love a girl with as much ambition as you. I knew what Rika was like a long time ago. If one day you find a man who is richer and better than Pa Ram, you will leave without hesitation." Pa Ram rejected Rika's feelings. He told her directly, "I won't love you." After Pa Ram left, Rika was heartbroken. All her planning and scheming had gotten her nowhere. Lamdao was at Sawat's house, waiting for the joy that her boyfriend would bring. He surprised her with a proposal. She didn't know what to say. She didn't answer right away, and took Max back to the hotel. Sawat took Lamdao to eat noodles, and asked her how she answered Max's proposal. Lamdao thought about how there was no hope between her and Pa Ram. Pa Ram's mother would never forgive her. After thinking for a while, Lamdao decided to accept Max's proposal. She told her best friend to take her back to the hotel. Pa Ram followed Lamdao all the way, watching the girl he loved go into the hotel where Max was staying. Lamdao didn't know that Max was talking with Atsawan at that very moment. After hearing that Max had come back to the country, Atsawan quickly went to find him. While they were getting intimate in the room, Lamdao rang the doorbell. After thinking for a while, Lamdao decided to marry Max. She went back to accept his proposal. But while Max was changing his clothes, she saw a pair of underwear on the floor. This made her very suspicious. Lamdao had been with Max for many years. She knew his habits better than anyone. Max had always worn only briefs, never worn boxers. So when he came back, the first question she asked was, "Were you taking a shower when I got here?" After hearing his answer, Lamdao took out a pair of boxers. Driven by her suspicions, she searched every room. Then she heard something fall from the bathroom. Lamdao pushed open the door and quickly discovered Atsawan hiding behind the door. She wasn't wrong. She knew this guy. Atsawan had even helped her before. Lamdao didn't say anything, just left sadly. Why was nothing like she thought it would be? After leaving the hotel, she wanted to catch a ride quickly. Suddenly, Pa Ram's car appeared in front of her. Pa Ram got out of the car and urged her to get in. "If you don't get in, they'll catch up to us." He pulled Lamdao into his car. Max had indeed caught up. He still wanted to explain. Pa Ram drove away with Lamdao. Sitting in the car, Pa Ram comforted Lamdao, who was crying. Lamdao didn't understand why Pa Ram was there. Pa Ram explained, "I've been following Sawat's car the whole time. From the hotel to the noodle shop, and back to the hotel." Seeing Lamdao's weary expression, Pa Ram told her to go to sleep. He would wake her when they got home. After Lamdao drifted off, Pa Ram gently took her hand. They looked into each other's eyes, unable to hide their feelings. The next morning, Lamdao's phone wasn't working. Sawat was worried. He was afraid something had happened to Lamdao. He told his mom, "I took Lamdao to the hotel where Max was last night. I haven't heard from her." Sawat's mom also felt something was strange. Lamdao wasn't the type of girl to be easily swayed. Just then, the houseboy said, "A handsome guy came to the house." Sawat opened his eyes wide in surprise. Max asked Sawat, "Where is Lamdao?" Sawat asked curiously, "Wasn't she here last night looking for you?" Sawat said, "After she left my room last night, I haven't been able to reach her." "So where did Lamdao and Pa Ram go last night?" "She's so small, how could she possibly carry her?" "Let me help you." "No need, I can do it myself." Ouch! Pa Ram pulled the blanket, and they fell onto the bed. Pa Ram looked at Lamdao with a tender, loving gaze. He had fallen deeply in love with her. This was the first time they had been so close. "Doctor?" Her mom guessed that she was the last one to know Lamdao's true identity. She angrily told Pan to call Sawat over and talk to her. She asked Sawat, "Did you know that Lamdao had been disguised as the ugly cook all this time?" Sawat nervously explained on Lamdao's behalf. Lamdao knew she was wrong, but Pa Ram's mom was still furious. She asked Lamdao, "Were you at Sawat's house last night? Because Pa Ram has disappeared, and we haven't heard from him." Sawat heard this, just hung his head and said nothing. Seeing this, Pa Ram's mom guessed that Pa Ram must have gone with Lamdao. Sawat looked very embarrassed. Pan tried to console his mom. Sawat probably doesn't know anything. Pa Ram's mom turned and walked away furiously. It seemed like her anger didn't subside at all. She was even more suspicious now. That evening, Pa Ram went to the kitchen to prepare dinner for them. Lam Dao was eating when Pa Ram suddenly asked her, "Do you want to marry me?" Lam Dao almost choked on her food. "With our current situation, how can we get married? Your mom hates me, and who proposes while eating noodles? It's not romantic at all." Pa Ram burst out laughing. He turned around, put down Lam Dao's bowl and chopsticks, and pulled her out of the room. When they reached the door, he had decorated the garden beautifully. It was both elegant and romantic. Lam Dao was deeply touched, and tears welled up in her eyes. She knew that Pa Ram had prepared all this secretly. Pa Ram took Lam Dao's hand and proposed to her again. He realized he had fallen for this girl, and there was no way out, but he didn't know when he fell in love. Pa Ram confessed to Lam Dao, "You make me feel a joy and happiness I've never experienced before. Now, I want to make you feel that same happiness." He also promised Lam Dao, "No matter what challenges we face in the future, I will face them with you bravely." The emotional proposal deeply moved Lam Dao. Pa Ram took out a ring he had prepared beforehand and put it on Lam Dao's finger. They hugged each other and smiled happily. The next day, Pa Ram and Lam Dao went back home. Now, the challenge they had to face was Pa Ram's mom. Pa worried, Mom won't accept Lam Dao. She's definitely going to object. Pa Ram was also very worried. He guessed his mom wouldn't like Lam Dao, but if it were the cook, she would definitely soften. Pa Ram's mom walked into the kitchen, but she didn't see Ta preparing food. She was wondering about this when she saw Lam Dao appear, carrying delicious food, as if nothing had happened. As soon as she saw her, the boss sternly called her by her real name. Lam Dao, seeing this, quickly boasted about her cooking skills. To ease the tension, she promised that her food would be even better than before. She then served the boss her rice, just like she used to, asking, "How much rice do you want, boss?" But the boss's expression didn't change at all. She still showed that she disliked Lam Dao. Lam Dao kindly put the rice, chopsticks and spoon on the table for the boss. But to her surprise, the boss called Tai over and told her to make some fried eggs. Hearing this, Lam Dao's smile faded. The boss pushed the delicious dishes that Lam Dao had made to the side, without even looking at them. This situation was awkward. Tai walked over to Pa Ram and said, "The plan failed." Pa Ram couldn't believe his mom was so mad this time. "I already fired her. Why did she come back?" At this point, Lam Dao cried and knelt in front of the boss, clasping her hands together and begging for forgiveness. She still wanted to pretend to be the cook and massage the boss, but the boss was not pleased with her. Lam Dao explained, "I know you always loved me. You're disappointed and heartbroken because you found out I was tricking you." She desperately begged for forgiveness. The feelings Lam Dao had for the boss were very deep. She didn't want the boss to be silent and depressed because of this. Seeing Lam Dao's sincere apology, would the boss forgive her? No matter how Lam Dao cried and begged for forgiveness, the hurt boss refused. She mocked her, "Don't pretend to be the cook and deceive everyone anymore." Lam Dao was flustered, crying and calling for her mom. The boss got even angrier when she heard this. Lam Dao said, "As long as you forgive me, I'll do anything." The boss confirmed this again. Lam Dao thought there was hope, but the boss demanded that she disappear from her sight. With a heavy heart, she left. After the boss left, Tao hugged Lam Dao and comforted her. At this point, Pa Ram and Pan pretended to walk down the stairs by chance. Her mom saw her son and got even angrier. She called him upstairs. She questioned Pa Ram. Didn't Lam Dao always try to get out of the engagement? How come she's back now? Pa Ram explained, "Lam Dao thought Rika was actually my girlfriend. She thought our family wanted to marry her because they cared about her family's money." Her mom was even angrier. She said, "I can't accept this deception and humiliation." Pa Ram explained to his mom. She wanted to find out the truth herself, so she came up with a way to get into our house. His mom was still upset and heartbroken. She told Pa Ram to tell Lam Dao, "No matter what she does to make amends, I will never forgive her. Even if you're mad at Lam Dao, you won't be so heartless as to be mad at the cook, right?" Lam Dao heard the conversation between Pa Ram and his mom. Her mom's attitude made her even more heartbroken. That evening, Lam Dao went into the garden alone. She couldn't stop herself from remembering the boss's concern for her. The boss was worried that she would get lost and gave her a piece of paper with her phone number on it. When Lam Dao lied and said her grandma was sick and she had to go back to Muang, the boss worried she didn't have enough money and gave her some. When she even got a scratch on her arm, the boss helped her apply medicine. She treated Lam Dao like her own daughter. Lam Dao remembered those happy memories and felt both regret and self-reproach. Just then, Pa Ram walked up from behind and hugged her. He was heartbroken seeing his mom treating his girlfriend this way. He comforted Lam Dao. "Whether my mom accepts you or not, I will still marry you." Lam Dao thanked him, but didn't want to make Pa Ram's mother any more upset. If his mom was still adamant about not accepting her, getting married would only make things worse. But she encouraged Pa Ram, "I will do everything I can to make her forgive me." The next morning, Lam Dao prepared breakfast and was about to bring it to the boss when she carefully introduced the dishes. The boss stared at her, looking displeased, but Lam Dao still tried to win her over. She even personally blew on the porridge for the boss. The boss yelled, "I will never forgive you, no matter what." Lam Dao, seeing this, choked back her sadness. She said, "You know you care about me most." Then she took the box of pastries the boss had given her. To her surprise, the boss got up abruptly and angrily pulled off her wig. "This stupid wig and this ugly mole can go in the trash." Then she grabbed a tissue and wiped off the black makeup on her hands. The cook, Lam Dao, was stripped of her disguise and was helpless. Pa Ram saw this and rushed over to stop her. His mom cried and said, "This isn't the cook, but a con artist. Did you think you could fool me with this wig and ugly mole?" She said bluntly, "No matter what she does now, I will never approve of Pa Ram and Lam Dao's relationship." Pa Ram thought that Lam Dao's appearance as the cook would soften his mom's heart, but his mom was still determined not to forgive Lam Dao. Seeing his mom treat Lam Dao this way, Pa Ram went to talk to her. He told her, "Lam Dao knows she's wrong, and she sincerely apologized. What more do you want her to do?" But his mom angrily said, "I just want her to disappear from this house." Pa Ram said something harsh, "What you want will never happen, because I've decided to marry Lam Dao." His mom became even angrier. "I can accept any girl in the world, but I can't accept Lam Dao as my daughter-in-law." She made her point clear. "If you insist on marrying her, then consider that you have no mother." To his mom's surprise, Pa Ram said, "I'm sorry, Mom," then turned and walked away. His grandmother and Tinacorn went to find Pan to ask about the current situation at home. Pan told them everything, including what happened to Lam Dao's grandmother. She asked about Pa Ram's attitude towards Lam Dao. Pan said, "My brother loves Lam Dao. Even though my mom objects, he is determined to marry her." Her grandmother heard this and knew it was time for her to intervene. The next day, she took Tinacorn to Pa Ram's house to apologize. Lam Dao opened the door and was terrified. She couldn't believe that she would meet Pa Ram's family in this situation, but she could only face it. She clasped her hands together to greet them, but to her surprise, they didn't recognize her. Tinacorn felt that Pa Ram's maid looked strange. After opening the door, Lam Dao regretted hiding from them earlier. After Lam Dao left, Tinacorn remembered that Pa Ram had told him, "My sister has disguised herself as the cook in my house." He recalled the girl who had just left, and she matched Pa Ram's description perfectly. Now they realized the girl was Lam Dao. After entering the house, her grandmother told her to come closer and then took the mole off her face. "Grandma." "Dao." "Yes. Why are you just admitting it now?" At this point, Lam Dao finally confessed. Her brother curiously picked up the mole and looked at it carefully. Lam Dao quickly snatched it from his hand and stuck it back on her face. Her grandmother and brother said they were there to apologize to the boss on her behalf. Lam Dao told her grandmother what had happened recently. Her grandmother was heartbroken after hearing this, but she knew that it was her granddaughter's fault. Now she realized that Pa Ram's mother was a good person. Lam Dao also apologized to her for not listening to her and stubbornly staying in their house to gather evidence. Just then, Pa Ram's mom saw everything. When she entered the room, her grandmother went to her. Although her grandmother had done her a favor, she said, "I will respect your decision, because you have the right to choose your daughter-in-law." Her grandmother also apologized to Pa Ram's mom. "Lam Dao's stubborn and competitive personality is my fault. I didn't teach her well when she was young," she said. This time, Lam Dao was going to go back to Bangkok, but she insisted on coming back to say goodbye to your mom. She was worried that if she suddenly disappeared, it would make you sad. Her grandmother continued, "Fate is really strange. It brought these kids together so they could be happy and enjoy each other's company. Why should we, as adults, separate them?" Her brother comforted Lam Dao. "If you really can't stand it anymore, then go home." But Lam Dao was determined to stay. She wanted the boss to forgive her. Her grandmother went downstairs and called her grandson to leave. Before they left, they encouraged Lam Dao. That's the way to do it. After saying goodbye to her family, Lam Dao, who had suffered so much, suddenly started to cry. The boss saw this. Would she be moved? This is Atsewin, my boyfriend. Boyfriend? Yes, hello. Big Mouth realized that this was Lamdao. Because he didn't know, he had exposed her identity. He went to her to apologize. Lamdao knew he didn't know the whole story, so she forgave him. Big Mouth confessed his feelings to Lamdao. He had secretly loved her since college. But today, he had to choose to let go, because he knew that Lamdao was in love with Pa Ram. He even said that Pa Ram had taken a leave of absence from the hospital. He said that they would get married in 2 days. He wished Lamdao well and left. Lamdao was silent. Did Pa Ram decide so quickly? It turned out it was all true. During dinner, Pa Ram told his mom, "I've arranged everything. We're getting married tomorrow." His mom still hadn't forgiven Lamdao and walked away angrily without saying a word. After his mom left, Pan asked curiously, "When did you start making arrangements?" Pa Ram said, "I took a leave of absence. I've already booked a wedding planner, and about Lamdao's family." Lamdao heard this and called Pa Ram outside. She wanted to talk to him privately. She asked, "Why are you getting married when your mom doesn't accept me?" But Pa Ram encouraged her to trust him, saying he would take care of everything. It seemed like Pa Ram was not only confident, but also eager to marry Lamdao. Who would have thought that the next day, the boss would call Tae over and push her suitcase towards the door, demanding she leave. Pan rushed to the front and asked, "Mom, what's going on?" His mom said, "I'm going to move to our villa in the countryside. If Lamdao is still here, I won't come back." She turned and walked away angrily. Lamdao's ex-boyfriend came to apologize and say goodbye. Lamdao had thought things over and decided to forgive Max. Max said he wanted to go back to the US with his boyfriend. The two of them wished each other well and made an agreement. Lamdao and Pa Ram's honeymoon will be in the US. We have to meet up then. Lamdao's parents also came to Bangkok. Pa Ram and Lamdao were having a ceremony in front of their families. After completing the ceremony, Pa Ram thanked Lamdao's parents for agreeing to marry their daughter to him. Lamdao's parents also gave their daughter to Pa Ram. "Mom, hand your daughter over to him. No matter how angry you are, you have to forgive him. If you don't love my daughter anymore, you can't hurt her, just send her back to me." Pa Ram immediately agreed, promising that he would love Lamdao as he loved his own life. After staying on the mountain for 2 days, breathing in the fresh air, his mom's mood had stabilized. She not only remembered the cook taking care of her, but she also remembered her recent pleas for forgiveness. She began to see things more clearly and felt a little regret for not attending Lamdao and Pa Ram's wedding. How could I be indifferent to the happiness of the person I love? She didn't know that Pa Ram had actually changed the time and location of the wedding. Rika wanted to cause trouble at the wedding. She had put on tons of makeup and arrived at the wedding venue, but she heard the wedding had been canceled, so her plan had to be shelved. As Pa Ram's mom was packing her bags to leave the mountain, Pa Ram suddenly appeared. She asked, "Isn't the wedding happening now?" Pa Ram said, "Without your approval, our wedding can't take place." His mom was both angry and touched. Pa Ram wiped away his mom's tears and said, "If I married someone else, would you approve?" His mom was a bit dubious. Pa Ram took his mom outside, and they saw the cook in her wedding dress. The cook, with her dark skin and large mole, looked a bit flashy in the white dress. The cook stated her desires. "I want to be the boss's daughter-in-law. I can assure you, I can do a lot of things. If you place an order by phone right now, you will get a lot of free services. Chef, maid, model, or even a cleaning service, everything is free. I decided to choose you as my daughter-in-law when you said everything was free. You don't have to pay." Lamdao called out boss, and she was told to stop. "Why are you calling out nonsense like that, little girl? You need to call me mom." Mom. The couple, after enduring so many storms, could finally be together. Lamdao, with her sincerity, had persuaded her stubborn mother-in-law and received her heartfelt blessing. After discussing it, the two families decided to hold a celebration dinner for the three couples that night. Pan accepted Tinacorn's proposal, officially becoming Lamdao's sister-in-law. Seeing Pan and Tinacorn happily and sweetly together, Taeyu also wanted to be proposed to. She told the houseboy, "I also want to be happy like that. What's there to say? Let's get married." Tae finally got her Prince Charming. She forced Pan to blush like a flower, but she was blushing like a wilted flower. Despite this, the wilted flower was still beautiful in the houseboy's eyes. No one was a better match for him. They were happy and warm together. Pa Ram and Lamdao weren't going to be outdone by anyone else. This couple had gone through so many hardships and finally found their way to each other. The three families stood together for a photo. These photos captured the happy moments of their lives, preserving these sweet memories in these pictures. Tonight was the happiest night for the three couples. Sawat was happy to see Pa Ram and Lamdao happy. 5 years passed, and the flow of time couldn't erase their feelings. Instead, their feelings became deeper and stronger. They had 2 children, the fruit of their love. The little ones loved to bully their dad, making their mom feel sorry for him. In the end, viewers were left wishing they could relive those moments in the film. If there were a Nobel Prize for happiness, they would definitely win first prize. This is the end of the film. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel to show your support.